But my life is good. Really good. I get to wake up every morning at 5 a.m. and make some soup. It's the best. I love it. I get to lay in a bed by myself all of my life. It's fantastic.
You're playing music too loud, right to jail, right away. You're driving too fast, jail. Slow, jail. You're charging too high prices for sweaters, glasses. You right to jail.
Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito?
Oh!
Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but now I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
We obviously didn't communicate clearly. We're here to discuss your surrender, not mine.
Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una pipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que pensar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás motivada y tú aburres mi corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila y te escriba tu canción. Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una pipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que pensar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás motivado. Corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila mientras escriba tu canción. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura, papi, tra, tra, tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura, papi, tra, tra, tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más. Déjame pendejo, papi, ya no más.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Luis Martinez, aka Big Chief Burrito, live with you on a Tuesday.
Tuesday, baby. Sticking to the schedule.
Mi Gente Show, live and alive from San Diego, Chula Vista, California. How's everybody doing today? What's up, Sophia?
What's up, Lou? Nothing much. Got a new phone. Ooh.
Ooh, I got
Yeah.
2 phones.
Phones. I like your pride little.
Yes, I got the to wipe my brow. I got my
Oh,
little. Look at that.
snap.
Look at that.
What?
Yeah.
You're all rainbowed out.
I'm allied out. Yes.
Oh my God, we stand a good ally. Thank you.
We support. You know what I'm saying.
Still Pride Month.
Still pride. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Keep it going. I mean,
Mhm.
what are you gonna do? Call me a gay?
Yes.
Hello. Are you
That's
a
gay?
But yeah, we're chilling. June. It's hot, so this will
Getting
be
hot.
coming off in a second because it's getting hot. But I do want to
Just
show
saying.
my alley ship. We're we like you said, we cover a lot of the bases in terms
Mhm.
of Latinidad. We try to cover more, obviously, as we go. We're gonna cover a little bit more today as well. But yeah, Pride Month keeps going. There's a lot of stuff happening. We're gonna do reactions. The WGA strike is still ongoing. Hunter Biden plea deal happened today. Tate brothers got finally indicted in Romania today. They got finally accused. There's a bunch of stuff happening in the world that we'll talk about Hellscape Watch wise. And we also have an interview today. But let's start off with any personal news, Sophia. Besides the 2 phones, what's going on with you?
2 phones. I'm in a kickball league. I'm in a lesbian kickball
Yes.
league, Lou. And boy, did we play this last Sunday.
Yeah. No, I guess I didn't qualify. I wasn't gay enough.
No, you did not qualify. I did ask. I'm so sorry. And it's an all female. It's a she they league. Okay?
I tried. Hey, listen, I tried. Listen. I would have worn. That's why I bought my wristband for it.
Like,
and
I
then
was getting prepared.
I was ready.
You are neither she nor they, so I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Listen, I wanted to be there, but it's okay. It's fine. Maybe I can just come cheer you guys. Maybe I can just come cheer you guys on one day.
Yeah.
It looked like a fun crowd.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. And then we went to Gossip Girl afterwards. So
yeah,
after parties always. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna check with one of those. No, me. Listen. I've been working. I've been doing some karaoke hosting for Extra Cash. That's been going good.
Very nice.
We got a 4th dog in the house today. I'm happy. I have Milo over.
Oh, Jesus, you scared me.
No.
Okay. Like, you don't need any more dogs.
No, I don't. Yeah. We have currently 2 pit bulls, a German Shepherd, and a Belgian Malinois in the house. So, AKA a fuck ton of dogs.
Yeah.
So way too many. But no, we're doing good over here. Working hard, getting ready for the summer. Still going to the gym. Still doing that.
Nice.
So we're trying to do what we can here to stay healthy, stay productive.
Yes.
As one does. We're going to jump into all that stuff in a little bit, but first we want to welcome aboard our guest for this afternoon, evening session. They are a filmmaker that we met at the San Diego Latino Film Festival this past year. When I saw their film, Wish Upon a Disco Ball, it checked off all the boxes that I wanted to see for the movies that I wanted to include in my comedy showcase. It had tons of representation, female representation, Afro-Latino representation. It was a very beautiful film, comic as well, which is what I was looking for. And it blended in really well with all the other films that I selected, all the comedies. I think everybody agreed that it was a really interesting mix. And what I would like to do before we bring her on is I want to play this trailer.
Let's do it.
All right. Are you hearing that?
I can.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Do a disco together. Disco isn't dead. No, it's well and alive. So tell us, honey, what do you want?
I'm imagining what's happening because it's doing the thing where I can't hear the audio.
Oh, it's going.
It's going. It's definitely going. It's definitely happening. Wish Upon a Disco Ball.
Yes. So good.
Very good movie. All right. So without further ado, let's bring on the director of that film, Anabel Iñigo.
Yeah. Hey. Hi, everyone. Hello. Thank you for
Happy
being
Pride.
here. Happy Pride.
Thank you. I have my flag. I have my flag.
There you go.
Oh yes, we're all rainbowed out today.
We really are. I do love this. As someone who always loved the rainbow, there's like it's so fitting, you know, just like to have a whole month of it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Those rainbows never hurt nobody. People getting freaked out about them and stuff like that. It's crazy.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that in Hellscape when Hellscape's what. But actually, I've done as what I could, but I'm sweating.
You're sweaty already.
I'm sweating through my man bun. I'm sweating through my man buns, but the flag stays here. I still got my thing for my sweat brow. Okay.
There you go.
But Anabel, welcome to the show.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, let's jump into a little bit about your background and your life as a filmmaker. Where does it all begin for you? Were you naturally a storyteller as a child? Were you drawn to writing? Were you just a bossy person that you should be a director, or what was it?
That's so funny you say that. My kindergarten teacher once told I was bossy. I was a bossy little Latina girl. I was chubby as heck, and I was just like you. But I'll never forget my kindergarten teacher said this to my mother and said this to me. She was like, "You, when you are ready to become a teacher, you come back and let me know. But till then, let me teach my class." And I was like, "All right, I have to remember that." I never became a teacher fully, but I became a director instead. So maybe there's something there. I'm from Miami, Florida, born and raised. And I'm half Cuban, half Dominican. I'm raised by my Cuban grandparents. So if that has any, if that is anything at all, being raised by old people, old Cuban people at that. And then, I've always loved storytelling because my grandfather loved storytelling. He would always be the person to have me like, "Oh, Anabel, let's come watch this movie. Let's come watch this. And it was so funny because it's just been like a story of my life that everyone in my family had loved different genres. And so I have always been someone that's like had a very intimate relationship with a certain genre and a certain person. My father loved his action films. My mother loved her rom-coms. My aunt loved her dramas. And whenever I was with them, I would watch very specific films with those people. So I got a really nice understanding of just everything in general. But I started writing before I did anything. I had big emotions and I put them on paper. And then as I got older, I just wrote stories, and then stories became scripts, and then scripts became movies.
That's
so
awesome. And you went to college. You studied this, right? You went to college for it and everything?
Yeah. I graduated high school with my associates. So when I went to Florida, I went to Florida State for my undergrad, and I finished in 2 years my first degree in creative writing. I said, I'm not ready for the real world. Don't put me out there. So I did another degree in theater, and I fell in love with directing theater. And then I was like, I'm still missing my first love, which was film. And so I went to USC, graduated in 2021, but I stayed until 2022 because I made Wish during the pandemic. So I went to USC's master's film program. So yeah, did all those.
Nice.
Wow.
I'm in a lot of debt, gang.
Yeah.
I got the George Lucas. I got the George Lucas. My undergrad was free, but I got the George Lucas for grad school, and I'm still in a lot of debt because USC is expensive. But
private school.
No, absolutely. I have some family in La Pequeña Havana in Miami. One of my aunts is married to a Cuban man out there, so I love my Cuban culture and friends and family out there. Shout out Miami.
You make great
Shout
food.
out.
Shout out Miami.
Shout out
305 worldwide.
Shout out to 305. Shout out what is it? And I had some Cuban food this weekend. I had some ropa vieja. But you know, my God. Yeah, I think you give me there's a couple of Cuban places close by, but they have a place on the street that makes some masitas de puerco so good. It'll like knock your socks off, man. I love me some Cuban.
When
food.
I go to San Diego, you have to take me.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I would, LA is lacking.
If I would have known that you were, I thought you were more Dominican than Cuban for some reason. But
I look more Dominican.
Yeah.
But I'm raised by my Cuban family, so I feel like as I've gotten older, I've touched my Dominican side more.
Yeah.
But I feel like my childhood is pretty much dominated by my Cuban.
I remember
side.
my Cuban uncle when I was in Miami. I was like, I want to go do something. He's like, bueno, te agarra la guagua y te va para Coconut Grove.
Coconut Grove. Coconut Grove.
Coconut Grove. Te toman la guagua. Te tocan la guagua. Y te vas para Coconut Grove.
Okay, what? I'm just a Mexican here. Like,
she's like, take the bus to Coconut Grove. If I wanted to go, if I was bored, I was like, oh.
Someone once asked me how I say microwave in Spanish, and I was like, microwave. I don't. Huh? I have no idea. That's the way the Cubans say it. I don't.
What?
So
microwave.
So Dominican and Cuban. I remember we had a guest on, and I was something I said, we have an Afro-Latino guest. She's like, well, I don't really consider myself Afro-Latino. She had her reasons for it. Do you associate yourself with that term? Is there like a fine line there for you, or how do you feel about that specific, like Latino, Latina, Afro-Latina?
I do consider myself Afro-Latina, and it's because growing up, Cubans are very white. The Cubans that I was raised around were very white. And so my nickname growing up was I had two nicknames. Mulata, literally means little black girl, or Gordita Linda. And those are the two that they kind of went with. And so I was always like othered even within my Cuban community. And so definitely getting older, I realized the Afro-Latina, just as a term, is almost just like so comforting, because you can feel like, okay, there is like this special thing, this special term for what I am, because by my hair, just like by my features, I am definitely on the darker side of those things. And so, yeah, I definitely consider myself Afro-Latina. And if she doesn't, whatever floats your boat. But yeah, I definitely do for me.
No, I because in, like we're always trying to learn, we're always trying to add, it's obviously we're not a monolith and stuff like that. But for some reason I went into it very confidently, like, we have an Afro-Latina guest, and she was like, wait, actually, and I was like, well, okay, all right, let me just learn on it.
Yeah.
It's the various degrees of people, and I think her reasoning was she didn't want to assume her heritage.
Okay.
That it was coming from that place, right? Do you remember?
I think it was also that like that wasn't her plight to take on. Like she didn't feel like she was, the proper representation, or something to do with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, like I said, we learn every day. Go ahead, Anna.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I am, and the girls in my movie are, and I think it just comes down to finding a term for yourself where you feel most comfortable and feel most, in that space. So
yeah. And did the casting for the film, was that something that you obviously put a lot of thought into, is casting two Afro-Latina leads?
Yeah. So one of the beautiful things about USC, why it's worth so much tuition, at least for me, was you just have access to so much in terms of equipment, sure, but just like students. And for my lead, the younger Alexis, which plays Olivia in the film, she was actually a student, and USC had a mixer with like students and students in the drama school and students in the film school, and they would always have like little things like, oh, come see this talk, and then afterwards, have some drinks and chat with each other. And I actually met her there, and I was in the beginning process of writing Wish, and I was like, I don't want, I knew what I wanted. I know what I wanted her to look like. I know she needed to be young. And so it was just like, the grace of God of just being like, hey, you sing and you dance and you act. Let me tell you about this movie.
That's smart of them to put the drama school and the filmmakers together in a mixer. I'm like, they know what they're doing.
They know what they were doing.
Yeah. So what made you want to do a musical? Is that something that you've always been into? Is that your genre, so to speak?
Yes. So musicals, like I said, my undergrad, I did a lot of musical theater. I directed musical theater. I did some acting classes. So I really, really loved that. And I grew up in a place where we had a lot of film, but we didn't have a lot of theater. And so like even the high school that I went to and the middle school didn't really have like a drama program. So my first real exposure to theater was in undergrad at Florida State. And I remember having all these conversations with people, and they were like telling me about all these musicals, and the only thing I'd ever seen was Wicked. And I was like, oh yeah, I definitely know Rent. I know that one. And then I'd go home and I'd have to like, listen to it.
Oh man.
I had to download so much. And I think that's something that we never talk about in these spaces, when like we as people that are not as privileged to this information have to go in. This is something that even happened to like my first boyfriend in a completely different way, that he went to like an Ivy League school, and he was doing intro classes, and he was learning things in intro classes that everyone else knew, but we didn't,
and he's already
because our school wasn't. And so theater, in a much less, it wasn't a physics class, but it was me being like, I'd never heard of Next to Normal, and then having to download an entire soundtrack and listen and learn. And giving myself an education in my bedroom via YouTube and Spotify. And I learned so intimately all of that I fell in love with it. And so when I transitioned over to film and I went to film school, I think every single film I made at USC was a musical. My first film...
Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Little puppies. My first film at USC was a once inspired musical about this girl that just like, you know, is worried if a man's gonna come back after a first date. The second one was about like a Beach Boys inspired musical about a woman deciding that she's going to go on vacation alone. And then my thesis at USC was a disco musical about two sisters having to fix their relationship after dad dies. So, I knew my goal in life, I'll say this now, because before in the backstage we were talking about goals, I would love to have a musical in every genre. And I think film is a very accessible way to do that. So,
Holy shit, that's amazing. Wait, before we move on, I really want to know about the Beach Boys musical. Like, can you send me the link? I'm actually okay, I need to watch it like now.
Yeah. My composer, I'm sorry, go.
No, go ahead. Your composer, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say my composer and I met at USC again, why it's worth the tuition. And he was just incredible. And I remember having this discussion with him and saying exactly that. And my family, my grandfather who raised me was a veteran. And so we would go to Hawaii a lot because there was just like a really, really big Army culture there. He fell in love with it so much when he had gone, when he was younger, that we just kept going back. And so Beach Boys is, again, grandfather, spoiler for the Wish people, but it's just really intimate. And so I love that sound because it's so distinct. No one sounds like the Beach Boys.
Really,
so why not turn it into a musical? And I love doing that, like finding sounds of people and then just doing it very intentionally. So I'll send it to you. It's cute, and I'll turn it into a feature one day.
Oh my gosh,
please.
I'm excited.
What is which one do you think would be the? Because I mean, there's been tons of comedic musicals, dramatic musicals, but what genre do you think would be the hardest? Horror?
Well, there is a horror musical.
I mean, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I don't know. That's more of a comedic.
There's the one about the Christmas that the zombies come out on Christmas, and then it's like this crew of people have to kill all these zombies with Christmas decorations.
Oh my god!
Definitely have not seen it, but I need to.
Yeah. And there's also Sirens, which is a mermaid inspired musical out of some European country that did really well. So I know that those exist. The hardest genre might be action. I think you nailed it. I haven't really heard of like I can only imagine someone like Tom Cruise on a bike being like, I gotta get there. And just like how those numbers break out. And even though I will say, I think that the musical, like in terms of genres, the genre closest to a musical is an action film because so all of the choreography. So
yeah, I was gonna say I can totally see him flying a plane and singing. Yes,
Tom Cruise would have a ballad. Okay,
yes.
So Jamie Foxx would throw down. All right, I know he would. I know he would.
Team America was like, but that was puppets. I guess had some musical
That
aspects,
was
right?
that was art.
It did.
Yes.
That was art. That was
No.
like 2003. I feel like it was around Rent. No.
Oh fuck
yeah.
Okay, so you're doing the musicals. You're bossy. You're growing up, and you spend all this. You go from Seminole to Trojan.
Yep.
And
Same colors.
And then and now you make Wish Upon a Disco Ball. What do you feel in terms of like the? Do you think that you would have had the same? Would you have been able to make Disco Ball if you had stayed in Florida?
No.
Right.
No.
So you think it's important for somebody, even if you start off in like a smaller market and you have your dream there, do you feel it's important for like filmmakers that are serious to pick New York, LA, and sort of go for it?
Yes, because of very like the little piece of the world that I had available to me did not really include filmmaking or music making, or I didn't really know too many artists growing up. And so for me specifically, it was important to leave Miami because leaving gave me access to other artists and other perspectives, and going to school almost immediately created a network that I didn't have any semblance of in Florida. So for me, yes, I literally cannot imagine what my life would have been like had I stayed in Miami Lakes. It was just Hialeah, Miami Lakes, there with my family. It just, I don't think it would have happened. Going to a place like New York or LA or even like Austin, these places that are like hubs for artists. I almost think of it like, it's like an Ivy League school. Harvard will go and collect all of these incredibly intelligent people and then collect them in this one building. And you are just like amongst like in Harvard sense, just amongst those people in that really, really excelled in what they did. USC did that for me with film. While I was the only person in my cohort that loved musicals, I know some incredible filmmakers that are phenomenal with like comedy and horror, and yeah, leaving was necessary. Needed to.
Sorry.
More dogs.
Time for my dogs to act up.
I have a cat. Eventually, she's locked outside. I mean, she's outside of my bedroom, but she'll start meowing at some point. Versace is.
Oh, but see, that's cute. Barking is just annoying. Cats are, yeah, that's adorable. But dang, okay. So it's not necessary. So the short answer is it's not necessary for everyone, but it was necessary for you. Or do you think that is okay? Yeah, I think it's hard. It's hard to like pursue a career in like filmmaking somewhere where there's nothing really available to you.
Yeah,
and
people
then also
are like, what were you?
No, go ahead. You were gonna say.
I was just gonna say people that have all of it available to them, go them. But wasn't me. What about you guys? How is it to see in San Diego?
I think in San Diego, the only issue that I have with San Diego is that I think they have a sort of a second city relationship, like Chicago to New York, but like it's almost like quit trying to make San Diego happen, because it'll never. It's like there's people that try. They're like, we can make San Diego just like we can make San Diego just like LA. We can attract movies, and I think this town is only equipped to like handle maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 TV shows at a time, a couple of movies at a time. So what I feel is that you can play both sides, like myself and other people that sort of live in San Diego, and it's like, listen, if I have to go meet somebody in LA, it'll take me 2 hours. It might take you 75 minutes to get across LA. Sometimes with traffic, it might take me just 2 hours. So it's not like it's really that much more different than living in LA.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to put in those drives and put in work, you're close enough that you can take your shot. But I feel like there's a lot of hobbyists. There's the lifers are the ones that are either they get their LA number and they're up there all the time for auditions. And then the other ones that are trying to sort of, but I want to kind of stay here and stuff like that. I feel that if you're a lifer there, you take your shot, you go up there, and then once you get a little bit of established, you're like, okay, all right, I know how the LA things. I'm willing to make that drive. I'm willing to spend 6 hours on the freeway to go to an audition. And then you can kind of come back. The dream for me would be somewhere like middle, like Orange County or like Del Mar or somewhere, up there, like, where you're like an hour out. That's the dream. But that's for like the people that live in Malibu and shit like that. That can be a little bit,
Yeah, it does get hard because like everything in LA is so last minute too. It's like you have an audition tomorrow morning, and then it's like, oh shit. Yeah, I remember one time I got booked for something, and then I was like, okay, it's tomorrow, but then I didn't get the call sheet, and I didn't know what wardrobe I needed to wear until literally like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. And I'm like, I have to drive in the morning. Like,
it's crazy. Call sheets, both of my roommates that I live with, my brother and our friend from Florida State, they're actors, and USC was so meticulous. Our call sheets had to be out a certain amount of time. We had to give all of this information. And so when they're like, yeah, I think I'm supposed to shoot in 8 hours, I still haven't gotten a call sheet. I'm like, what?
Yes.
What do you mean? That's insane. Yes. I can't believe that.
I was like, is it still happening? And I have no idea what to pack. And like, I only have one chance to pack, and it's like a 5-day shoot. So I don't know. I got the wrong wardrobe. I was just there. I was like, y'all didn't tell me.
You were a body. You were a body.
I was a body. It's fine. But yeah, no, I was thinking, I'm like, if I really want to do it. I have to go to LA. Like Lou said, hobbyists or lifers. And I'm like, right now, hobbyists. I love San Diego, but
it's so nice though.
It's so nice. It's hard
San
to
Diego
leave.
Is so nice.
Listen,
it's not just like
you can make a living doing corporate videos and corporate and weddings and stuff
soulless.
like that. It's soulless. It's that soulless work. You can make a living and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people here, like in the acting community local, that are people that have either a significant other or a partner that's got tons of money. So they're like, I'm going to pursue acting, but they're really never like, they're really never full in. And then there's a lot of people that unfortunately spend their whole year around like these competitions, and they're like, where they can get people to work for them for free and stuff like that. So I have a love-hate relationship with the San Diego film community myself. I love it. I love supporting young filmmakers. I love supporting the San Diego Latino Film Festival, obviously, as you know. But like I said, if you're really about it, you have to at least have one full foot in the LA market to do that.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We're talking with Anabel Iñigo, right? From the film Wish Upon a Disco Ball. So how has because obviously I thought and I got a lot of I'm a ego driven, as everybody knows. So I got a boost. And I got a lot of energy out of curating the Hay que Reírse showcase. Like I felt proud that I was the person that was in charge of putting this together, and I was very, very happy. Some people told me it was like one of the best short film showcases they had ever seen. They loved the
I have to give you that. That was one of the best.
Yeah, and I'm super appreciative of that, but I have to stop myself because I'm obviously a narcissist. I have to stop myself from being like, I did such a good job, because honestly, it's your film, right? It's the movies that make it. I'm a conduit, and I put it together, and I was very happy for that. But in the end, it's the movies that make the showcase. How has the response been for the film in other festivals? How did it compare? Was there a difference from it being in a festival with like a big Latino community, or at a festival maybe in a city that didn't have as much of a community? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, this is a great question, because me and my producers say that the best experience we had in terms of our film specifically in this showcase was with you guys in San Diego at the Latino Film Festival. And it was because I met Jess there because we were in the same block, and she is now one of like my girls. And two, one of I have this thing called core memories, and it's pretty much like when something crazy happens that I'm gonna remember forever, I have established a core memory. I stole this from Inside Out.
Yep.
But it's just something
the little
that,
ball
like,
of light. Yeah.
the little ball of life. And
Trust me, I
at
watched
the
that movie
Latino
120 times.
So good.
at the Latino Film Festival, I had a core memory where Wish played. I had an amazing time. It was received so well. Everyone laughed when I wanted them to laugh. Everyone really liked the music. But a woman came up to me afterwards. I'm gonna freaking cry. A woman came up to me afterwards and she was like, how close are you to your sister? And I was like, oh, my sister's my bestie. That's my girl. The film, for anyone listening, is about two Latina sisters that have to reconnect after their father passes away before the oldest goes to college. And so it's very much like a sister film. It's a sister film about them loving each other and da 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 da. And she comes over to me and she was like, how close are you and your sister?
That wasn't
And
as, didn't have as much of a community. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
So, well, because I'm hearing another
Yeah,
voice.
there's feedback, Lou.
In
There's
this
what?
showcase.
We're hearing us back.
Oh,
Oh,
because we.
there you go.
Okay. Oh, perfect. So this woman pulls me outside while I'm right in front of this very theater where these photos are. And she's like, how close are you and your sister? And I was like, really close. My sister's my best friend. And she was like, I wasn't going to come today. I was too busy and I really, and something told me I should show up.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't spoken to my sister in 8 years. And after seeing your film, I'm going to call her on my ride home.
Oh.
And I was like, you
Wow.
should call her. You should call your sister.
Yes.
And she was like, I will. I knew I had to come to the screening today. And I think I need to call her. And I remember Rachel, my numero uno. I love this girl, my producer, light of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I turned to her and I just almost started bawling. And I was like, oh, this is why you make movies. Mm-hmm. To me, it's just like a fun, cute film for me. But to her, it meant something. It was like you know what I mean? And it just kind of like that. A core memory was made that night in such an intense way because I think she saw herself in those relationships. She was Latina. And yeah, she was just like so moved by it. And for her to tell me that there, I bawled. I was like, Rachel, did you hear what she said to me? And she was like, Anabel. And she was like, yes, Anabel, that was very cute. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Girl, that was you realizing, hey, that's me. That's you realizing that you had an effect on people. Like that movie was impactful. Oh my gosh. I also texted my sister, and my sister and I we're close, but we also have a very complicated relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting next to Maribel, another actress, and she's been on the podcast as well. And that was one of the biggest things that it caused between us was we talked about our sisters and like opened up about our relationships with our siblings and cried. And you did that. That was,
girl.
I don't think you know how impactful this movie is, especially to like sisters. And
yeah, that's why I said it at the screening, and I'll say it every time I ever talk about filmmaking ever. Everything I make and write is to protect my younger self. Mm-hmm. I went through hardships and stuff. Obviously, being raised by your grandparents raises complications in other ways you can only imagine with like my family and stuff, yada yada. And there are versions of me that needed protection and needed versions of herself to look up to and needed relationships in her life that mirrored positive relationships. Because if I would have seen what a sisterhood relationship could have been like, maybe I could have strived for something. Maybe I could have had better conversations. Maybe I could have loved myself better. And I think that like that's why I make movies. And like Wish is sweet. It's for two sisters, but I think the feedback that I've gotten from people in terms of what that film has done, like even hearing your story of you talking about your sisters with another Latina, that's what I want for the rest of my life. Like when I got my job, I work at Sony Pictures Television, or right now it's halted because of the strike. But I told it to my boss in my interview. She's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be the female Steven Spielberg, where I make family films for Latina women and for like all women that look like us, but like blockbusters and fun and bright and joyful conversations around people centered that look like us. So,
Yeah.
anyways,
yeah, and you're gonna get there.
we hope. We hope.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
We will.
All right.
We will. We're
live with Anabel Iñigo, sorry, filmmaker, Seminole, Cubana, Dominicana, hanging out with us, talking with us. Polly, Latino Slant, stopping by. Here's the plan idea. Sophia comes to LA and conquers. Luis stays in San Diego.
Wow. Left in the street, Luis.
Yeah, no. Polly's.
I love you, Polly.
Polly's the president of the Fuck Lou Coalition. So
yeah.
We're hanging out. We're talking with Anna. Wish Upon a Disco Ball. Is it going to be since it's a student film? Since it's a USC film, does it limit where you can screen it? Is it only available in festivals and then that, or at one point are you going to be able to sort of publicly put it out there, or is it just because you're still trying to see if you can pivot to a feature for it?
So the way that USC does it is the idea is mine. Well, they own the actual film itself, but I own the IP. So me and my producers are currently creating and writing outlines for a feature version, and me and my composer are writing. We're going to go the Hadestown route and probably write about like 15 songs and record them in a studio and then package that and see if we can shop it around. But that's a very expensive movie. So not the first, and that will not be my first feature. But yeah, USC owns the film, so they will license it eventually and they'll have it out there, and we'll find a really great place for it whenever the time comes. We're still submitting it to festivals, so I think at the end of this year we'll know where she lands. But USC lets me keep the rights to the actual project idea, so that's kind of like the way that they do it with students.
Gotcha. Okay.
Got it. And is there a plan for you to do something like in between, like a short in between there, or are you full focus strictly on I'm going from this to a feature?
Lately, the world is weird. Lately, I've been doing modeling and acting.
Ooh,
and yes, interesting enough. And then but I'm gung-ho on a feature. I really want to shoot a feature before I'm 30. And I think I have an idea for a feature that I can shoot for $250,000. This numbers that like movie numbers are not real numbers. I want everyone that's listening, that is not a real that is a cheap movie. I cried when I bought my first $1,000 couch. So for me to even say a number like that is crazy, but because so many people get paid in a production and there's all of post and composers and this and that. So, but so something cheaper than $250,000 will be my first feature. And I think that's what we're kind of just like angling towards. And then, that's, if a short happens, sure. I have lots of short ideas. I'll apply for grants. But Mama wants a feature.
Mama wants a feature before 30, baby.
I want a feature before I'm 30. Or at least shoot it. Because post might take a long time. But I want to be in production for a feature before I'm 30.
Yeah. Movie time is also very weird.
Well, listen, I don't do titles or special effects or coloring, but as far as story editing, I'm your guy if you need somebody there.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I love
acting. Oh, we're selling ourselves. Okay, acting. I'll be in the background.
Oh, I'm coming back for y'all.
Yeah.
The way I work is I stay with the same people, I stay with the same crew, I pull them up and we run with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I'm here, whatever you need. I'll be an AD. I got some
chops too. You need a big
I feel like you have a nice deep, you'll have a meaty voice. I can totally hear it.
Yeah, big burly gay Latino. You got me.
Gay Latino.
I'll put on the headband.
I got a rainbow.
I don't care. I got range. I got chops.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
It's getting what that's. This is gonna be my move. This is gonna be my move all summer.
Oh my gosh.
It is.
Go to Flex and then do that. And then,
It's I was gonna say Cupcake. Get out the way when you see me. I'm running with the LGBT. No. Okay.
No. I'm so sorry. I am a disappointment to my kind.
No. Look, Tallahassee was a special place. That's all I'll say.
Tallahassee. All right. Polly says, correction, he is the president and founder. Yeah, I got that.
Yep.
And great to hear this director and her dreams. Absolutely. We love
Yes.
chatting to other filmmakers. We love talking about that. And we love, it's Mi Gente show. So we want to continue to expand, because obviously me and Sophia are both more on the paler side of Latino. She's a little bit more passing than I am, although she's got all those Latina features.
Not with these eyebrows, though.
I'm dead.
Listen,
I'm
I went
dead.
to Spain,
I'm
and
dead
those
in that
people are
middle.
pasty.
I'm like, I can't hide it. Luis Martinez, the name or my skin tone, I can't hide it at all. But so we want to kind of always strive to showcase a Latinx, Latino spotlight. And we're happy to have you chatting with us, Anabel.
Thank you. I appreciate this so much. This is so much fun. When you asked me to do this, I literally cleared my schedule. I was like, nope, this day, I'm not doing nothing. I'm not seeing nobody. This is the only place in my house that gets good light. I'm directly under my vanity, which is why I'm
oh my god,
directing yourself.
Perfect.
No, we were supposed to have you on before Sophia went on vacation, but it didn't sign up. So I was like, look, as soon as we get back, you'll be one of the first few guests that we get on. I wanted to ask you a little bit, from a cultural perspective. Because we've heard about you as a filmmaker, Latina Spielberg, protect. I love the thought of protecting the younger you, because I think where my love of films came from is, as a child of divorce, whenever I would go back and forth between my parents, one of the things you do with your parents when you haven't been with a while, because you don't know what to do to kill time, is you go see movies. So, and I've always talked about on the podcast. I remember since I was a kid, any movie that I saw in a theater, I remember who I saw it with. I remember seeing Titanic with my mom. I remember seeing Tango and Cash with my dad in a movie theater in 1988. Those things stuck out to me very, very roughly. What movies from your childhood stand out for you in that way, like formative years
core
that maybe
memories.
You had core memories?
I vividly remember watching How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with my mother, and my mother and I loving that film, like loving it, and then her going home and reading the reviews for it and everyone just being like, this film sucks, it's horrible, and me looking at my mother and being like, we loved that movie. What are they talking about? I was like young, and so I remember that. I also remember watching one of my for my friend's birthday in first grade, I think, second grade, really, really early on in my life. A whole group of us went to go see. I don't know if you guys have ever been to those movie theaters that they have like a party room. So you go and watch the movie, and then you go to the party room and you do pizza and stuff. I had a whole special celebration for my friend's birthday while watching Finding Nemo. And I remember that being like a very vivid core memory as a child, and us having to like line up and us being incredibly excited for this like film. And that's awesome. Yeah, I have really warm memories around just like family time, because I don't remember specific films, but this is something me and my family would do. We weren't super wealthy growing up. And so my mother, she would pack a sandwich and she would pack little bags of popcorn, and she would literally go with like a big bag, like a big purse, and she would put all of her snacks in it. And we would go to the what was the theater that was by our house? It was Regal. And we would literally plan it. We were like, all right, at 1 o'clock, this movie starts. And then at 3 o'clock, this movie starts. And then you're just going to go to the bathroom. And then I'm going to follow you to the bathroom. And then at 5:30, this movie starts. And we would spend the entire day just hopping and eating out of my mom's bag. And that was like an activity for us. That was like, when people would go to Disney World, we'd go to the Regal Cinema behind my house. And
that's awesome.
So
yeah, I went
to
it and you watched 3.
Yeah, exactly. And also just an activity. It's a day. It's a whole day.
Yeah, that's true.
I did that in your hometown once. On the day I took the Wawa to Coconut Grove, I saw I saw
So easy back then.
I saw Ed Wood in the theater there by myself, and then I stuck around and saw like another movie afterwards. I don't remember that one, but so yeah, your love of movie runs deep. I'm super impressed by that, and like the reason for you to want to make movies. Getting into a little bit about like the cultural aspect, the differences between Florida and California obviously are different. The difference between Latinos in California and Florida are different. Being Cubana, Dominicana, and being raised in a Cuban household versus sort of, I not to assume, but it feels like, from the movie and from meeting you and from you being out here in California, it feels like your views sort of tend to be more like California leaning, if that makes sense. Has that been a culture shock either getting to California, or is it more of a culture shock communicating with your family back home and going back? Which one do you think is a bigger jump? The jump from being in that environment and then coming here, or thinking about possibly like visiting or stuff like that, and how does that affect you? How does that affect you?
Another great question, Luis. My God. I will say that the jump from Miami to Tallahassee was crazy, and then Tallahassee to California blew my mind, because I was in Miami. I was specifically in like the Hialeah, Miami Lakes area. Everyone is Latino. Everybody. It's to the point where I think the school I went to was like 95% Latinos, 4% African American, and then, or just 5% and then a 1% white. Because I said this to him. I have one of my producers and one of my best friends. She's Vietnamese, and I was like, I didn't really know Asian people back in Miami. And you come out to California, and the culture is completely different. There are not that many Mexican people in Miami, at least where I was from. It was all Cubans and Dominicans and Nicaragüense and people from Honduras and Colombians. And it's just like, it's a different Latino. It's the Caribbean and it's Latin America, heavily. And then you come to LA and it is heavily Central American. It's very like Mexican and real, like LA's Mexican food, don't play. I can only imagine San Diego's Mexican food.
Way better.
Well, I know, y'all eat good, but like, like learning cultures and like even the dialect in Miami, I could hear someone and be like, "That's Colombian." I could hear someone be like, "Oh, they're from Honduras." Like you start to be able to pinpoint people's accents and know where they're from. And Mexican culture, I was completely new to, and so I was learning food and learning stories and just like the cards, the Mexican cards, the loteria, that like it's so like ingrained in the culture, and there's so much. I knew nothing about it, and then one of my really good friends that I met at USC was like, "Girl," and just like told me as much as they could, and I was like, "Oh my God, like there's so much culture." So that definitely shook me. Going back home now, I'm like, oh, okay. Like Miami. So the jump over here was harder, but now going back is whatever, because I'm a Californian. I'm not going back to Florida, especially with all of the policies and Ron DeSantis, that dictator, and our horrible burning that state into the ground. And Florida will never see me as a resident ever again until they change. Because I do love Miami, but I love myself and my family and people's rights more.
Yeah, if there was a state, if there was a state that was California and Florida and New York, probably are the states that are most dependent on Latino workers and culture. In this entire plan, for you to turn around and say we're going to do all these things to alienate, to disenfranchise all these Latino families, making it so that everybody feels unwelcome, exodus of workers. They're basically saying now, they're trying to pass laws that say that they're not going to recognize licenses from other states that's specifically targeted to people that
Crazy.
there's states that where you don't need a social security to get a license, and they're like, well, what about, so that means what? In California you can get a license, right? Does that mean that Florida no longer wants tourists in Florida? Because you're telling me that if I go rent a car in Florida, you're going to tell me no, your license is not valid, you can't drive in Florida. They're fascist dog whistles, and it's one of the dumbest moves by the fascist governor there.
Yeah. Have you seen those photos that were circulating of just like the fields of fruit and stuff that were just completely empty, like fruits rotting because there's nobody to pick them, construction sites completely unfinished because there's no one to finish? I think the actual law, because for a while I was like, oh, he's just an idiot. No, it goes deeper than that. It was like, it was so malicious because it's not, he can probably get behind and being like, that's not my intention. We know exactly what your intention is. The policy was something along the lines of like, businesses with over 15 people have to prove the citizenship of every single person. And if you don't show that, you're not a valid business. And so you can't practice in the state of Florida. And you're just like, okay. And that's why you see these photos of these like construction sites unfinished and these fields unpicked, because
immigrants make most of the agriculture freaking market. So it's like,
they feed
the workforce.
us, they take care of our
so
kids.
Much labor,
They clean our houses. They process our meat. All this stuff, and it's such a short-sighted, stupid stance to take. That's that.
On the bright side is California gains Anabel, so that's good.
Hey, if I'm staying here forever, it won't see me back.
I guess
I will visit, sure, but
I guess the follow-up part of that is because, like you said at the beginning, Cubans sort of feel like they're white, like they sort of feel a little bit like they've been chosen, right? Because of
the dry foot policy,
because of this beef between the US and Cuba in the 50s and 60s, and because of a policy change, it could have just, and you know what, if it had been Colombia, I'm sure that Colombians would feel like they were chosen and like they've been assimilated into whiteness. But you being Afro-Latina and also being Cuban, that do you not waste your time with that part of it? Or do you feel, since you're sort of, because for example, as a guy, as a man, as a Latino, I'm Colombian, sometimes I feel like I have to sort of, and the show is part of it, reach out to like less sort of evolved friends and people in my life and sort of be like, hey, you don't have to be bigoted. You don't have to be homophobic. You don't have to be misogynistic. I changed, other people can sort of evolve as well. But at the same point, I'm like, it's also not my job, but I do put some effort into it. When it comes to that aspect of it, like the Cuban sort of monolith, but that they do tend to vote more center right, and they do have a sort of a different opinion. You saw Cubans were some of the ones that were like, yeah, get them out of here. They don't want to work. They don't have papers, get them go. Do you feel any sort of like need to sort of address that and sort of go back to that? Or do you just kind of feel that it's not necessarily something that you have to spend energy on?
So it's worth saying the leader of the Proud Boys is literally a Cuban man.
Right.
And it's worth saying that you can drive around Miami right now and there are Trump 2024 flags flying on houses. I have empathy for everyone always. I always try to understand why people do things. I think that Cubans have to be the most those specific Cubans, because I know some incredibly liberal, some really, really great Cubans, obviously. But Cubans have to be one of the most self-hating, groups in Latin culture, because how do you separate your culture, your island that was literally part of the slave trade? There were slaves dropped off on your island back in the day. You were a hub for tobacco for, the empire, and that's all you were for a while. And then it kind of just became this division of who was out in the fields and who like worked in el campo, and then who was in the city and who was lighter skinned, and they were able to kind of just separate themselves and be like, I'm that, you're this, so clearly we're better. And they've done that now with just like the same these same policies of like, when I found out the leader of the Proud Boys was Cuban, I was like, how? And then I was just like, oh, you don't think you're a Latino Cuban man. You think you're a white dude. Yep. So you need to do everything. Yeah, you need to do everything in your power to convince yourself day in and day night so deeply that you have to lead these people to hate to hate the others. There's no way that man looks at himself in the mirror. It's like that one Dave Chappelle sketch where he's blind, but he's like a KKK member. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just like the amount of loopholes that you mentally have to go through to be able to differentiate yourself. I feel bad for you because you have to hate you have to hate yourself. There are versions of yourself that you have to not see for you to be able to make that make sense. And so I try. We have Abuelo Loco, my biological grandfather. Mm-hmm. Every time he sees me, he loves talking about how much he loves Trump. One time I went to go see him, he had a Kim Jong-un shirt, and he was like, ha ha ha, Anabel, look at this, and I'm like, Abuelo Loco. Let's be real.
No. Look,
yeah. You went to prison, sir.
Oh,
and you're
no.
a human man. What do you mean you're here with a Trump shirt in front of me? And I'm just like,
as he say, you can't do nothing to me that Fidel has not already done.
I'm terrified of going to Florida now. I'm going in like a few months.
Look,
you're gonna enjoy Florida.
Florida's beautiful. Miami's fucking beautiful. South Beach is fucking awesome. The Keys are beautiful.
Smith made a song.
Yeah. Florida's fucking awesome, and it's full of great Latino culture, which is why it's so weird that it's there. To clarify, there's plenty of Mexicans in Texas, Colombians in Florida and New York. There's plenty of second, third generation Latin Americans, South Americans that sort of have this "I'm gonna close the door behind me" policy, which is, oh no, I'm here. I ain't the bean or wetback anymore.
Yeah,
I'm second, third generation. I'm cool now. I'm one of the whites. The rest of y'all, and stuff like that. So it does happen, but I do think that it is fair to say that in the Cuban community, it is also a little bit more pronounced because of that relations that have the dry foot, all that stuff that happened in Cuba and stuff in the day. So, but yeah, so it is interesting. I'm glad that we have you here to sort of talk about it. Yes. So just everybody just listen, man, just look, like you said, just because you look the part, you talk the part, they hang out with you, they compliment you on your truck with the big tires, doesn't mean that at the end of the day,
because you have the balls hanging out the back of your truck, like, sir.
Oh God,
they're look, all they're thinking is, oh, we got one of the good ones, or this allows us to,
same thing if you're gay and a Republican. Say if you're trans and a Republican, you're just talking piece, a tool for them to use.
You're a beard. You allow them to say, look, we're not racist. We got a Cuban.
Look
we
at
got
our
a
friend.
Colombian.
Yeah. Look who's our leader. It's like,
If I was a racist, would we let a Mexican hang out with us? What? Come on.
Yeah. No. No, it's so silly. It's so sad. I hope that, all of these kids can start getting mad at their parents or they just eventually go away. And just like these old crazy Republicans are just like, they're really, really bringing down Florida. And if, as we've said so much before, it's just like,
maybe the
state will get better when they're not. I know. Yep. Just go get them.
Go get them, orcas.
Go get them.
We're hanging out with Anabel.
Yeah.
You'll eventually be able to catch her movie Wish Upon a Disco Ball. You can follow her at Anabel Iñigo on Instagram.
Yes, please.
Help her. I'm sure she'll be posting stuff when she's getting ready to make her next feature. So everybody go out there and follow her. All right, we're gonna jump into some tabs, Anabel. You can hang out with us as long as you like. All right. We're gonna
I'd love to.
We're gonna jump into news and culture reactions.
Say, she got political, so we have to come on.
Yeah, we're gonna jump into some stuff, right? Let's see what we're gonna get into first here. All right, so topical right now, or just let's get into some news right now. So
you talked about Andrew Tate.
We're gonna get into.
Oh.
But let's do news before we do Hellscape Watch. All right. So is this a cultural thing? All right. Would you pay? So these people, there's a submersible that went down to check out the Titanic footage. They're down there, 6 people. They're all billionaires. They're hearing banging sounds. The latest is they had about 40 hours worth of air left as of like a few hours ago. But would you pay $250,000 to go down and see the wreckage of the Titanic?
Didn't they get lost? Absolutely not.
They got lost. They're lost.
They're just like lost in the water to not be found.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And how much longer did you say they have until they run out of air?
Well, they had 96 hours a couple of days ago, so I think they're down to 40 hours.
Fuck.
But basically, listen, I'm a little claustrophobic, so I wouldn't be able to get inside of one of those things anyway.
Also, you paid $250,000
to go visit, to go end up just like Leo did.
I mean, listen, I don't want to knock them too hard just because they're about to die. So let's all hope they can.
Oh, but they're billionaires.
That's true. Oh man.
My water bottle says
I'm trying to force some sympathy. I know, right?
Look.
I'm trying to force some sympathy here, but you know what? Yeah, I don't really care much. But you paid that much. Come on.
You could have funded an entire women's shelter.
Yeah.
You could have homed several people. I would not pay, and I don't. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
that's
you need to be better with your money. You need to be better and kinder with your money. And no, absolutely not.
This is also something that was like made by hand, and apparently they're using like a PlayStation joystick to navigate it. Like it's all very, like it's a man-made machine. Like it's not like this is made by like a shipping company. This is something that people made.
Wait, what? And why do they pay so much money? What?
Because these people have gone down successfully a few times. So it's basically like a thing where these people, like just how you saw in Titanic, the same thing that they went down with the little thing, but this is actually a little tiny submersible, fits 6 people, and they charge $250,000 to go down. What's up, Rebecca? Thanks for stopping by.
Hey. What's up, Thea?
So that's kind of a culture. That's a white people thing, I guess. Going.
Yeah, because they paid. I think I recently read also that the first man-made paid shuttle went to space too, like a couple of
was it SpaceX or was it? I know Elon is like doing some shit with that.
I think it was an Elon bot. Thing.
Yeah,
but
Amazon's doing it. There's a bunch of people that
Would you guys pay to go to space?
That I might.
You're thinking about it.
Listen, I like space.
What if it wasn't too much? What if it was like $2,000? It's not gonna be. But what if it was
to go to space?
To go to space.
I'm sorry, I don't know why I came out like that. To go to space.
Spies. Go to spies.
Oh, spies.
Let's go to spies.
Yes.
At $2,000 to go to space. Listen,
$5,000.
$5,000. Look, I think it'll get down to 5,000. If I reach to see 90, then fuck yeah, let's go. Let's do it. You know?
Yeah, because then that'd be a fine way to go out. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't care. Well, yeah. If I can get a space hooker on the way out.
Oh my god.
Listen, I want to know
space hooker not included, Lou.
Sorry. All right.
You gotta pay extra.
I mean, there would if we ever, because like I'm only imagining that would be spaceships, the equivalent to what we have here, like as a cruise, and so they'd have like events. They definitely have like gentlemen's clubs with strippers and space hookers.
It'd be like Soul Plane.
Yeah.
Or like, ooh, did you see Xenon?
What's Zebulon? I'm trying to remember the song.
The song, yeah. Okay. Fuck.
Boys.
My supernova. No, that's a Raven, girl.
You were doing it. You were doing it.
Supernova. Yeah, my supernova girl. What is it? I forgot the rest, but it was so good. Raven was in it.
See,
Protozoa was his name.
Protozoa.
for the dough. This is the CEO of OceanGate, which is a company talking about stopping at Camper World to find parts for the submarine that they're making.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death. Where do I sign? Oh, take your shoes off. That's okay. Wow.
Wow.
Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan. So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it.
Oh no! So they're even sitting crisscross applesauce, just like
no, dude. Like
it's the only 5-person sub in the world that can reach Titanic depths, 2.4 miles below the sea.
No.
It's also the only one with a toilet. Sort of. And yet, I couldn't help noticing how many pieces of this sub seemed improvised. We can use these off-the-shelf components. I got these from Camper World. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Oh no!
Seems like.
Listen, I don't know how long if anybody else is a gamer like me, but my video game controllers.
This feels like a joke. No way! Someone paid $250K. What?
250,000, and they're getting parts at Camper World, and it's a gaming controller that steers the ship.
That's
submarine.
Wild.
That's insane. That is insane to me.
They didn't do the research, did they? Oh no.
Look, but apparently the newest on this, and it's happening, so I figured we'd mention. They've apparently heard knocking sounds. They're obviously looking through them through echolocation. But the problem is that there's really no machine or submarine that has like a tow package that's going to be able to go down there and get them. So their best bet is that they get this lodge somehow. The theory is that they might either, here's the things that could have happened. They could have just exploded on the way down, because of the pressure, because there's like thousands of pounds per square inch of water down there as you get that low. So they could already be dead. They could have gone and toured the wreckage, because they go down and they get into the Titanic wreckage, and part of the Titanic wreckage could have moved, shifted, and they could be stuck in the wreckage, or the ship could have failed and it's floating at the top of the sea somewhere in a vast, infinite space. That it's going to be hard. So it doesn't. Listen, I know we're joking around a bit. I can't think of I don't know if I would rather be in a tiny coffin for 90 hours and die of air, or if I would rather just open, and you can't open it from the inside. So it's not like they can even panic and open it. It can only be opened from the outside. So they're stuck in there.
They're just stuck there.
They're just stuck in there. Or if I would rather just be eaten by a shark. I don't know. I think
shark.
I think I'd rather just be like, enjoy my belly, shark.
Oh my God.
Because you also have to just imagine what your mind is doing.
Yeah, no, the anxiety. My anxiety would take me out. I could.
Yeah, I can't open that inside.
Look, when you go to when you go to a water park and they have those slides where part of the slide is like covered.
Yeah.
It's like I don't like those slides. So I don't
even have all those.
Those immediately get triggers. So for me, that's a hard pass on that.
That's so crazy. I feel bad though. Like I do and I don't. Like no one deserves to go out like that. That's messed up. 92 hours of torture.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Eat the rich. I know.
Well. But on the same space, did you guys hear about those Colombian children? Is that part? Is that also part? Or is that for later?
No. I didn't have that, but yeah, they got stuck. They crashed into the Amazon.
Oh yeah, they got lost.
They survived because they had one bag of flour.
Wait. Do you want? Okay, so I went down a deep hole. The levels to this are crazy. So their father had been threatened by a local cartel, and so he ran on foot to another little city, and he worked for 2 months, did not reach out to his wife, did not reach out to his children. He worked for 2 months to make enough money to send an airplane to go get them. He finally calls his wife and says, hey, I've worked up enough money. I'm sending a plane to come get you and the kids. Meet here, bring the children, blah, blah, blah. She mentions this to somebody in her village, and he's like, something's not right. You know, the spirits are saying this is not safe. I'm going to go with you on the plane. The plane crashes in the middle of the forest, and everybody on the plane dies except for the 4 children. So the pilot, the mom, and the man that went to go and protect. And
did
then
the mom die right away, or she survived and then she told them to go away, not to stay with her, right? Was it something like that?
I don't know if she dies right away, but I know that what eventually ends up happening in these 4 children survive in the forest for 40 days. The caravan, the people that are looking for these children, is led by the father that worked to go and send the kids. And like 20, maybe a little less, maybe like 15 days into the search, the president of Colombia tweets that the children are found, and then had to rescind and say the children are not found. We found proof that the children could still be alive, because they started finding fruit, little pieces of bitten fruit and footprints in the forest.
Yeah.
And this 14, she was 13 or 14. I think she was 13. This 13-year-old girl, it was 4 of them. It was 13, the older sister, and then it was a 9-year-old, a 4-year-old, and an 11-month-old baby.
Oh my God.
And she kept them alive.
It's fucking crazy.
For 40 days. I think it was for 40 days. That little girl must have been. And then I think they were indigenous too. And so the grandfather was also like, oh, she'll know how to survive because we were familiar with these parts of the forest, blah, blah. But it's like,
and I guess their grandparents had taught them how to like survival stuff, right?
The very recent, and another case of being lost, but a happier ending where the kids were found. Crazy.
I wouldn't survive 2 days. 1 day. Shit, no. I just the night.
Bicho?
I get stung by a little mosquito. I'm like, oh fuck.
No, that's
end it.
That's hardcore. That's a lot of stuff there. Yeah, man. So we're hoping for the best for them, but you know what it is like, man. You took that right, and these people, and just at the beginning of the video, they're like, hey, blah blah blah. Hey, where do I sign? And literally, some rich people are like, fuck it.
We'll know by next week. We'll have a ending to this tragic tale. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna drop this article link in the chat real quick because our friend at SD Vets, who I met at, he came out with his wife to karaoke a few weeks ago. Did an article about us, and he was specifically you can go to LADineClub.com. He did an episode about the 30th San Diego Latino Film Festival and the Hay que Reírse Showcase, which you're a part of. I put that interview in the comment section, but he talked about myself and Sophia, and about myself. Sophia is an actress with a psychology degree, and he talked a little bit about us. Put some pictures up. So much love to Michael Carro.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael.
You do a lot of work for veterans groups here in San Diego and LA. So thank you very much for the shout out. I did get a chance to finally read the article, so we do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Listen,
awesome.
One thing that it could have been the orcas. Look, maybe the orcas were chilling over there and they saw this vessel come down and they're like, we don't only have to destroy ships in a specific part of the world. Did you notice that I added the orca to our intro?
I did see that. Yeah, I saw that. And then I was wondering also, when did you add Pedro Pascal, and have I just been missing him the whole time?
Look, you always I'm always walking. You're always either on your phone or you walk away, and I'm like, Sophia's missing. One of my favorite parts is looking right here at the bottom of the screen because I see you guys even when and I just look at like the people that like don't know nothing about the show. They're like, what is all this fucking desmadre? And they're like,
I love.
Anabel, what did you like? You liked because I saw Anabel. Anabel was like, and then she was vibing with the song, and I was like, all right.
Me too.
At first I was like, okay, I get it, and then I didn't, and then I loved it. I was like, oh, it was so like heavy, like Vine meme culture, like the internet raised me kind of energy. So I think what was his name? The one that started getting mad at the interview. I couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Freaking, we're going live.
This sucks. This
Bill
sucks.
O'Reilly.
Bill
We'll do it
O'Reilly.
live. We'll do it live.
We'll
Yeah,
do it live.
that's such a fucking that's like one of the original internet memes, man. That was the best one. I just
so
like
good.
I just every week I change the thumbnail at the beginning, and then I just find green screen videos on YouTube, and I just add random thing. Like I added the John Cena, and I added the James Bond guy where he was.
Oh, Daniel Craig. I saw him.
Daniel Craig dancing. So I was just like, I just added all kinds of stuff. Yeah, but I added the killer whales this week as well. So killer whales have been attacking ships apparently, and people are trying to figure out what it was. They also got ratioed. They ratioed because somebody from the Atlantic thought it would be a good idea to write an article say killer whales are not our friend. Stop rooting for the orcas ramming boats, and they got super ratio. Somebody they got super ratioed on it. But listen, man, like I am for our new orca overlords, so it's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I like this one here. Sink the rich.
Sink the rich, yes.
Look, after the first 2 or 3, it's them being like, "Hey, don't come here anymore." And I feel like the logical response should be like, "Okay, it's yours." You know what I mean?
True.
That's your water.
Fuck the boats. The orcas are tired of our shit.
If I did it.
Well, because didn't they also find out that it was one that was teaching the other killer whales how to do it?
Oh, that's
she was hosting like classes. She was like, "All right, guys, you come over. We're gonna get it from the front, and then we get it from the back, and then we push it over, and then she was teaching them."
And all they're doing is like disabling like the rudders and stuff. Like just basically, they're not killing the people on board. They're just making it so that you're dead in the water, so that you're just a floater. You're not.
I
doing
love
anything.
it. That's harmless. See.
Listen, I think the orcas are and orcas have been in captivity for a very long time. Yeah. SeaWorld had to release them. Like
Shamu, they're avenging Shamu. Is what it
Free
is.
Willy. I think right now the top 3. I don't know if you're gonna go top 3 or top 5 most vengeful animals. They're trying to crack that list because remember elephants. Remember the elephants. Remember the elephant that like went. She went to some chick's funeral and stomped her out again because they had heard. Yeah. So elephants are one of, and then I think it's crows, right? Is it crows or ravens where they will teach other generations to like if you're mean to a crow, they will generationally know, hey, the guy that lives at this house, fuck that guy.
I love crows.
Crows, and now orcas.
I didn't know that.
I guess cats, but cats are more just like aloof and stuff like that. I don't think I would put them on the like vengeful list, but orcas are up there.
Oh, I love orcas. Good for them.
I love them for that. I love them for that.
They should definitely go get the people from the Titanic right now.
Well, I can only imagine that the orcas that were released from SeaWorld finally, went and found a pod and was like, "Y'all want to hear some crazy shit? Y'all want to hear what they did to me?" And then, the other fronts just kind of like hyped up and they were like, "Roll out. Roll out."
They go like Zola.
Gang on them. Oh my god.
Gang, ride or die.
They're like Zola. They're like, "Y'all want to hear how me and SeaWorld fell out?"
Oh man, justice for Shamu.
What happened was.
All right, moving right along. This is a positive story from Pride this month. I know we talk a lot about healthscape, but this is the wrestler CM Punk during a recent live event. Sorry.
That some of the proceeds when you purchased the bar went to support trans youth.
Yeah. Wait, why'd I go silent?
Message Somebody in particular, don't know who it is, nameless, faceless person on the internet, said, why do you support that trash? And I thought about replying, but you can't argue with stupid, okay? You just don't love stupid.
Yes.
I support trans kids, trans grown-ups, gay, straight, lesbian, whoever, is because I know when I was growing up, I didn't fit in anywhere. But it was because of the clothes I wore, what my hair looked like, the music I listened to. Those are all things I can rectify. I could cut my hair, I could listen to jazz, I don't know what. But to be somebody who's gay, lesbian, especially trans, I don't know what it feels like to be trapped in a body that I don't feel I belong in. That is why I support that.
Wow.
Because I know I didn't fit in anywhere until I found pro wrestling, and all the freaks and geeks in the locker room were just like me. Maybe because they're a little bit psychotic and they couldn't hold on a real job.
I'm surprised people are cheering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gay and lesbian rights. I want everybody to
Go off, King.
just do no harm.
This, I love this.
Yeah.
I love you.
I'm surprised there's not more,
Yeah.
hoorah, like I hate gay
I didn't
people.
expect them to be that
I didn't expect them to be like,
receptive.
yeah. Well, that's pretty cool
Well,
though.
'cause
I love CM Punk.
It's something where it's like there is a point where obviously like an artist, when you're in artistic spaces and you're like, LGBT rights, and you're just around a ton of like people that already support that idea of like preaching to the choir. But when you see videos like that, there is some racist, like transphobic, sexist MFer in the audience that
Right.
has to stay quiet. Because if he were to boo, someone next to him would. And it's in those spaces where change actually happens. I love that. I love that. I love that.
Yes,
That made my day.
Yeah, because you think about the cross section of people who might be homophobic or transphobic and a wrestling fan, and there's probably some crossover there.
A lot, definitely.
So for them to be supportive in that audience, you're right. Like I said, sometimes you do have to speak to the choir because and we've talked about this when we talked with the crew with the movie about femicidio. Which is a lot of the time, those microaggressions are stuff that is contained to peer groups, friend groups, family groups. A lot of misogynist stuff that I learned from family members, cousins, uncles, friends of the family, and stuff like that. That's all stuff like that. So when you get to that level, and you can speak back on it and be like, no, that it is, those jokes are actually bullshit, or I don't really feel that way. It's it's a good point where you can actually get some learning and some changes can be made.
Yeah, good for CM Punk. I think we definitely need allies to, speak out and to these transphobes, to these homophobes, to everybody who is, only going to listen to a straight white man. So kudos to him for doing it, especially in a space where it's probably not the most accepting. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
we stand.
Because preaching to the choir it's nice to know that those spaces exist.
Right.
For people that want to be in those spaces. But then there's like, it hits different when, it's not a safe space, but you say it anyways. So go ahead.
Absolutely, man. That's it right there. All right. Has anybody checked on Tom Holland recently?
No, how's he doing?
He loves his lady.
Zendaya.
He loves his little lady.
The reason I'm asking is because some new images from the next Zendaya, Jess O'Connor, and Mike Faced in the new movie Challengers came out.
Oh.
And here's some of the first images.
Oh.
This is Zendaya.
Ooh.
And in this movie, I guess she's a tennis prodigy. And she has 2 white boyfriends.
It's acting. It's her job.
So then the memes start. Tom Holland right now.
Of course. Oh.
Tom. This is Tom Holland right now. Yeah. So is it just acting, Sophia? What is? Let me ask you this let me ask you this as an actress, and then I'll ask Anabel as a director.
Okay.
as an actress, if you are in a committed relationship, and when I say committed relationship, this is what I mean, because this is the video of them mirroring each other.
Oh. Oh, wow.
This is,
Oh, I love that.
What the hell? Oh my gosh.
They're
Same
pretty.
mannerisms.
They're pretty synced up in terms of.
They're so cute.
Yeah, I mean this is goals, right? I mean, obviously, right? This is.
As I sit here pretty and single, this hurts to watch, but
I know. when you said in a committed relationship, I was like, Lou, who, where?
I haven't had
Not
one in
really.
a minute.
No, obviously I'm not, but I'm just saying,
hypothetically,
like,
yes.
this is where they are relationship wise, like they're mirroring each other.
Adorable, cute, goals,
hardcore,
yes.
right? Let's say that happened for you in the future, and then you are in a movie that you are calling
one day. Yeah. One day in the future.
One day in the future. And you're in a movie that requires you to be in these types of situations. I don't know if anything more happens. I did see the trailer. They didn't really. It seemed like they were like busting the threesome there, but when you're in, how much of the relationship would play a part in you turning down or fighting back against a role or something like this?
Ooh. Okay, continue.
No, and then for Anabel, the question would be the opposite. How hard are you willing to, if you really want this in your movie, you're like, you think about it and you're like, I want musical, but the musical needs a sex scene. And I need
sounds like a great one.
I need a protagonist that's down for a boy girl, at least in theory. How hard do you push versus, you have the right actress, you have the right actors, but they're a little uncomfortable with it? At what point do you go out and maybe keep looking for an actor versus sort of toning back based on what they're comfortable with? And then for Sophia, how do you feel as an actress where you can push back against your partner if they're uncomfortable for you being in the situation, even though it is only acting?
Yeah. I think in the hypothetical, obviously I'm in love and happy and I respect their opinion, right? And value their boundaries. So, okay. Oh, it's hard because I think it would be valuing their boundaries and everything. It would be a conversation to be had. And I think it would be weighing the options of how relevant and how impactful is this film going to be for my career, and is it worth making my partner uncomfortable, maybe upsetting them, talking to them and seeing, and also having them weigh the options. I think ultimately it's going to be my choice. But yeah, I would want to hear how they feel. It would be super transparent. This is the script. This is what it entails. This is how it's going to go down. If you need to meet the co-stars, if you need to be there, okay. If you need to not ever see it to make you feel comfortable, okay. We need to just talk about it and see if there's something we can agree upon. Communication is key. And then, because if it's also a shit movie that I don't want to be a part of, if it's going to make my partner in the slightest uncomfortable, then I just won't do it. But if it's like a Marvel movie or something that's like life-changing, then I'm going to be like, I'm sorry, sweetie. Like, I need to do this.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And Anabel?
I think that's something that has to be in the script, like from the go. That's not something you can just like add after you've cast. So I think that like that's a conversation I have with my actors really early on. Hey, this film requires this specific scene with these specific actions. You will be doing XYZ. There's a new thing now in Hollywood, intimacy coordinator. So and so you would pretty much be like, I know that on any set where I ever ask someone to take their clothes off and be in a space like that, I'll be like, we'll have an intimacy coordinator. I will be on set. I'll make sure that you're comfortable. And so those discussions will be had before I agree to cast them. Depending on how like important it is for me in the film and for the story. You don't make a happy movie without a happy crew. I don't, like good movies, really good movies come from just like good experiences on set and off set.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation that happens before you say yes, before your pen hits the paper. your naked body will be pressed against someone else's naked body. Are you okay with that?
Look,
Yes.
in my experiences, and there's maybe been only a few maybe 3 or 4 times in movies where there's been a sex scene that was written into it. But since we're indie filmmakers, everything's self-financed, and a lot of these people are working for us for free. Because it's a local, it's an indie, it's zero budget. Like, I feed people very well, I treat them well, I get them their footage. But hey, listen, this is us. We're not, actors unfortunately are the last people to get paid. And at the indie level, it's like, I'm sorry, I can find actors for free, but I need a good sound guy. I need to rent the camera gear, unfortunately. And they're like, and that's the trade-off, because they need credits, they need work. So I always felt that if I'm putting them in that position, that I would sort of defer to them. I'm open to modifying what the vision is, because of the fact that we're doing this exchange of work, etc. And I've been surprised because, like, for example, one of the early films I had, there was this girl, and it was written as like she was in lingerie and she was seducing this guy and she was actually drugging him. And I was like, but we can just do something like this. And she's like, no, that's not sex. And then the actresses themselves are the ones that were sort of giving me feedback. They're like, well, no, you know what? I actually have some stuff like this, and I'm comfortable wearing it. So I think it depends on what level you are. You're right. I think 100% of the time it comes before, but it's also weird because he's an actor. He's an actor as well. So
exactly, he understands.
And,
I think
he's he got to make out with Zendaya. So
yeah, I'm sure they love each other and have an agreement. It's fine.
Yeah, and also I can only he also recently made a comment on people were asking him about that Umbrella performance that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And they were basically just asking, like, how do you feel with
Legendary.
everything that you did, breaking the molds of toxic masculinity. And he was like, I grew up in an environment where male toxic masculinity was like not even a thing. I can't even say the word right. So it wasn't like revolutionary to me. I heard you want me to be in tights and you want me to dance on stage with an umbrella to Rihanna. That sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
And, he didn't do it for the culture. He did it for the fun. And I think that there's something really freeing in that.
But that was his dance of seduction, though. That was like letting her know.
He bagged her.
Yeah,
I think that was the final.
That was like engagement chicken. That was there. That was
pussy wet. I mean, the floor and Zendaya. And me, it just all of us.
That's like when I, cook breakfast in the morning for my lady friends. That.
Yeah, same thing. Sure.
Yeah, sure thing. Same exact.
Same exactly.
I bust out the bolognese.
Over toast.
All right, we got a couple of other things we want to talk about. Some of them not so nice. So obviously, it's time for Hellscape.
Oh no.
Hellscape Watch. Where if I could find the video.
Let's go.
Any second.
Hold on, any second now. Don't freak out. Where's my house? Hey, wait a minute. Continue to wait for it. Where's my?
Waiting for it.
Wait for it. Hold on a second.
Wait for it.
We have it.
This is fine.
Love.
All right. Let's get our negativity caps on. All right.
Let's say. All right. So we did the positive story on
Shamu.
on LGBT rights. This is Kelly Cadigan. She is an outspoken trans woman that is against non-binary people for some reason. And this is a video that she put out earlier this year. Let me know what you think. Let me just see if I can get also to Milo.
Why I'm offended by non-binary people. Okay.
Do tell.
About why I'm offended by non-binary people as a transgender woman. When I look at my own transition and just transgenderism in general, to me, I think that people are either born a man or a woman. I think some people like myself are born men and they feel socially that they'd be more comfortable in the female binary. And they go out of their way to do surgeries to make themselves physically appear as a woman, right? Or vice versa for transgender men. When it comes to non-binary people, it confuses me because you guys don't identify as a man or a woman. You identify as either something in between or something else entirely. I don't understand how you could know what something else is besides man or woman. And every time I ask that question, no one can tell me why they feel they're outside of the binary. I don't understand what happened to being a tomboy or a tomgirl, right? And that's why I don't like the push like for children to transition nowadays anyways, because a lot of kids are tomboys or tomgirls. And I feel like a lot of parents with woke culture today would be very quick to say, oh, my child's trans, let's put them on HRT when they turn 13 or 14. No. And it frustrates me when the non-binary community wants to consider themselves transgender and put them under the same umbrella term. That offends me because I had strong gender dysphoria to the point where I changed my whole entire life and put my whole entire life on the line, right? Like taking hormones for the rest of my life is not 100% healthy for my body, but I had to do that because in my heart and soul, I knew I was not going to live a happy life as a man. So how are you, as someone who identifies as non-binary and probably doesn't take HRT, I know some of you do, but for the most part, most of you don't, I'm pretty sure. How are you going to compare your life to mine and say it's the same thing? That is very offensive to me. Am I allowed to feel that way? Because if you take out the outliers of the few who do take hormones, which I don't even know why you would.
Plot twist. I think she transitioned when she was like 50.
Why would you want to take that certain gender hormones? But regardless, for the most part, you don't, right? So what are you changing? Your pronouns? Maybe you have like some clothing that's gender non-conforming. I don't know, but I'm fine with non-binary people saying they exist, whatever. But don't call yourself
good. Thanks.
and say that your community is the same as mine, because I've gone through serious struggles to get to this point, and I just don't think it's comparable at all. Like,
the fact that she is somebody who went through the exact same that she seems to be shitting on is interesting.
Yeah, I'm like, this is just another case of like, you know, closing the door behind you. Like, I understand my struggle, but I don't understand your struggle, and therefore it is not valid. Like, you're saying the same things that anyone could use against trans people, any arguments that could be used against trans people. It's the same thing. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean that you can't just live with it, live among it, and respect it. It's not that difficult.
Yeah, it's absolutely like it's where my trans views evolved from, which was my view was of my questions, because I always like to ask ignorant questions, was what do trans men do to butch lesbians, right? Do they cross each other out? What's the thing? Like that was my question, which was an ignorant one at the time, and I've always said it. My views expanded and evolved because, like I said, I don't know what it is like to feel that way, because I always felt comfortable in who I was. So it's kind of like it seems like a very outdated take. Anabel, do you have any thoughts?
I'm completely stunned, because it kind of goes back to that thing of just like the mental gymnastics that you have to go through for this to make sense to you as a trans person is kind of bizarre, because you openly admit that you felt like you needed to change because you didn't feel like you were in the right body. However, you're completely erasing an experience that is not yours, you know? While I am not a transgender woman, I love being a woman. I cannot imagine how you must feel when you like are not comfortable in your own body. And so for her to have gone through that transition and still look at someone and say your experience of whatever you're going through is offensive to me, and really mean that, is kind of just like bizarre, because it's an experience that she doesn't understand because she doesn't live it. And so if someone thinks that, you know, being non-binary is the most accurate descriptor of how they feel and how they want to live their life, I can't believe you make a 2-minute, 35-second video explaining why you feel like they're insulting you by existing. That's just like, whew, girl.
Exactly. And then the victim mentality that comes with like, oh, but you're going to compare yourself to me. Like, no one was comparing. What do you mean? First of all, we all have to in order to admit that non-binary exists, you have to agree in the fact that sex and gender are two very separate things. So what you're talking about when you're trans is you're switching sexes, right? But like non-binary people just don't identify with any single gender. or they identify with another different set of pronouns and stuff like that. Just respect them. You don't have to understand their experience. You don't have to live their experience to be respectful of one another. And so it is baffling to see somebody that like went through a very specific, like, you know, minority experience also trashing other minorities. It's like, ugh.
Oh, I also bet that non-binary people will champion transgender people and their transition and, you know, really support them. And for you to sit there and look them in the face and say, nah, your experience, fuck y'all, is bizarre. And also so generalized, all transgender people have offended me. Girl.
Yeah. Like, no, absolutely not.
This is kind of like the Chappelle bit where he's like all the different LGBTQ parts are in the car and they're arguing with each other, right? It's like, you know, and it does become, this is where, like, you know, TERFs also, you know, you know, because it's like the levels of like hatred are so funny, because there's this person who is transgender who is saying she hates non-binary people, and then you have people
it's a hierarchy
right above them
where
they're like, well, we are feminists, but we're trans exclusionary feminists, so fuck you, you know. It's so
no, the
weird.
funniest part is at the top of that ladder you have like gay men who are just like, fuck everyone else, I'm a Republican, but like, because I'm a man and I'm gay, I don't understand anyone else. I don't understand.
It's white gay males, actually. white
gay males. Yes,
I'm so happy you said that. I was wondering if it was okay to say that.
It's white. It's white.
I've met some colored ones recently that made me very unsettled.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
I think it's color, and then the secondary to color is money. So if they're
let's do that. Socioeconomic status. They are wealthy. You're right. It's socioeconomic status. Wow.
Look. Why are the Latino families that have been here for 2-3 generations that aren't struggling? They've moved into the suburbs. Their kids grew up with a bunch of white people, and they feel comfortable in that. And those kids are the ones that are like, you know what I mean?
The kitty cat.
She kept crying at the door. I had to let her in.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We're pro animals here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's very funny. It's like everybody needs to be more self-aware, because I can say, hey, I am a minority because I'm a Latino and I'm a man and I'm, you know, disenfranchised to a certain degree, and but then there's also I'm also a man, so I have that privilege over women, you know, and et cetera, and stuff like that. It's you know, there's always somebody that's hating above you, you know. So if you're hating, it's like you're wasting your time now.
Yeah,
you're wasting your time. Oh,
absolutely. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, anyway, get that out of there. All right. Everybody's top G or broke G is now been arrested. Well, he was arrested.
He's so bald. He is so bald.
Listen, he said it. He said he was bald by choice.
Yeah, I know. He lied. He done lied. Look at his hairline. I'm sorry. But yes, continue.
But yeah.
Let's trash talk him.
We will.
No, I'm sorry. Let's throw the. We got a Andrew Tate.
Woo!
Pour one out for Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Keep that drink in your cup. Piss on his grave.
Yeah.
The top G has been arrested. The top G has gone down. He's been exposed as a broke G, because apparently his 300 million was only like 100 million or something, or 10 million. Ooh. And some of his cars were rented.
That is so embarrassing.
So he got arrested.
Follow him finds that out.
He got arrested, and he went to they were locked up for about a month. No, they were locked up for a few months, right? They were in prison for a while.
Yeah.
They got released on home confinement.
Mm-hmm.
They immediately started doing a bunch of dumbass shit. He did a horrible ass interview with the BBC where they were like, you know, because he literally put out videos and linked to stuff where he was teaching young men how to make a girl fall in love with them, the Romeo technique, get them to fall in love with them, have them come stay with you, make them dependent on you, and then have them start making money for you as a webcam model.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's pimping. It's been going on forever. you know, and he literally made videos and put it on his website and talked about it. And then the BBC showed up and they were like, well, this is what you did. And he's like, that's just some stuff you found on the internet. That's not me. And this and that. And he tried to basically.
I was just joking.
I was just joking. It was all,
I didn't
it was
mean
all
it, I
jokes.
didn't mean
And it was all jokes and nobody knows. Basically this is they're already they're grifters. They're grifting, so they already had this video ready. You know, how can you support the top G? You know, it's definitely by joining his club, and we talked about it. But they have been charged officially with rape, human trafficking, and forming a criminal gang to exploit women.
Fuck yeah!
So
let's
Why
go.
does he talk like this?
I like this one.
He talks out of the side of his mouth.
Seriously, I don't know.
The
What
Matrix
is
got
in his accent?
I like this.
What
The
is
Matrix got Andrew Tate again, bro.
Wait, so he's gonna be in Romania, going to Romanian jail?
Yeah, he could potentially get 20 years in a Romanian prison. And I think, and really honestly, it started when he tried to tweet at Greta Thunberg. And he was like, you know, I got 32 Ferraris and they have diesel fuel and this and that.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then she came back at him with like, oh, why don't you email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com or something. And then he was too stupid not to take the bait. And he was like, oh, you have a small dick. So it's just interesting to see him finally now being charged. You know,
yes.
So
He got caught though because in that video responding to her, he was eating a specific pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the box of pizza that was only like a chain that was only in that side of town, and they went back and got his address.
Yeah, because at that point they didn't know where he was at. I know. He took the bait. But that's
hook, line, and sinker.
Sorry.
They're
hook, line, and sinker.
They're grifters. Grifters gonna grift. So I don't know. The question I guess would be, what kind of irreparable damage did they do to, because we had questions months back when he had his like Top G University or whatever, where people are like, hey, my little brother used my mom's credit card to sign up for this Andrew Tate bullshit. Yep. And so what kind of damage does somebody like this do?
The worst thing is like the people that are really brainwashed, right? I feel like him getting locked up could be just like another form of him becoming a martyr as well. It's kind of like the Trump scenario where like he's indicted, but then people are just doubling down like, no, he's innocent. So I don't know. I do worry that there's going to be a subset of men that are just going to be ride or dies, and but that was going to happen anyway. I feel like he's had such an impact on young men and the toxic just mindset of like incel, right? Just so I don't know, and misogyny as well. So I feel like any damage that he has done it already. So him being locked up can only be helpful, thankfully. And we'll see where the fuck this goes. But the manosphere is fucking scary and it's growing.
Yeah, I think if you I think if you like lock him up and you show these photos of him where he looks hideous, boom, on cue, and you have these scraggly photos of him saying dumb stuff, it just gives me ammo for when I do run into these men that are like, I love Andrew Tate, and I'm like, he rented his cars. Yeah, this is your man. You know what I mean? It just gives me ammo.
Is this your king?
Is this who you lay with?
Like I've seen your booze mean nothing to me. I see who you cheer for.
Exactly, quite literally. And so hopefully you see that and you're smart enough to jump off the train, or you see that, stay on the train, and then get laughed at.
Hell yeah.
Look, the thing of it is like the majority of the kids, it's either the people who are Andrew Tate fans are either divorced dads. Because anytime I see like one of my old, I saw this the other day, one of my old high school friends started posting some red pill stuff. It was like, what was that thing where it's like women control the the pussy, but men control the marriage, or something like that. Like, or it was something like in, you know.
It's like your wife left you, Dave.
And it was like, yeah, I was like, yeah, that's a divorced dad, yeah, right there. I was like, did you get red pilled? And he was like, no, a lot of people think about these things, but they don't really say it. And I was like, I just put the that's a brave strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works for me. And I was like, yeah, let's see if that works out for you in the end. So it's divorced dad, and there's 12 to 15-year-olds. And once they actually start interacting with real women when they turn 16, 17, 18, then they'll either figure it out and adjust, or they'll just turn into incels, you know.
Yeah,
exactly. So that's
and then they'll do shooting, like, you know, that's
and it's the divorced dads that are really mad, and they're just like, fuck, well, it's not me, it's all women, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, my computer's been lagging a little bit. On Mello, thanks for stopping by.
Hey.
Wait, Luis, did you steal that wristband from my event? No, you very clearly gave this to me. I did not. Yes, I did.
But yes, he did.
Yes, Mello was having an LGBTQ artist.
Oh yeah, how was that?
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, I stopped by. It was good. It was a good time. I liked it. Nice. I stopped by. And
Cyro,
thanks for stopping by, Cyro. We're chatting it up. We're getting into the weeds. All right, let me take time. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, on the bright side, one less rapist and human trafficker, right, on the streets. So
yeah, no, the absolutely two, because his brother is also his brother. They're both locked up. But the question is, like the manosphere is insane. The red pill stuff is insane. I saw there was an interview, and I think we showed a couple of clips of Pearly Things, which is a female.
She is such a pick me.
She's a pick me, and she's like, oh, your value diminishes after 22. All guys is young women, and blah blah blah. And then they were basically crushing her, like, well, so you're 27. Does that mean that the man that would choose? She's like, I would be so happy if somebody married me. And they're like, well, you're 27, so obviously you're not getting a top level man if he's settling for a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
So wouldn't the man that ultimately marries you be a low value man?
Yeah.
And she was like, I think I would just be happy to be married or something. But man,
oh my gosh,
she works hard. She works hard for the manosphere.
She jumps through hoops. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Have you guys seen that woman on TikTok that she does sprinkle? My god, there's this woman on TikTok that she's the exact opposite. She's like, so she's a pick me girl. Men are always gonna want pick me girls. Have you guys ever heard of this?
No.
Oh, you have to look up.
Send a link to Lou. He'll play.
I will. I'll find a link right now. And she is just hilarious. And her whole thing is she's always going, sprinkle. Sprinkle.
I need to see
okay, I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna literally find it and put it in the group.
Look at his hair. Anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyway. All right. Demon. So wanted to take a minute to shout. We know we always like to do plugs on the show for companies of people that I know. So giving a shout out to our friend Big Brown Dad, Mestizo.coffee, company out of LA, Anabel, if you are a coffee drinker like we are.
Am totally.
They I'll put the link there, link in the chat. I just ordered myself the fruit bomb, which I'm excited to try. Which is this coffee tastes like fruit.
Oh, interesting.
This is a premium handcrafted blend of top shelf Mexican coffee. Is designed to explode on contact. I ordered that one. I haven't tried I haven't tried the neon chocolate yet. I might get that next time, or the Route 66. Right. I like the one that I got is my favorite. It is the where is it? Where's my coffee? This
right
is
there, the tonic. Yeah.
Yeah, the tonic, the 420 in 1 420 in 1 Colombian single origin coffee. This is my favorite. I just ordered that in the fruit bomb, which I'm going to try for the first time. Big Brown at Mr. Big Brown Dad. You can find him, or you can go to mestizo.coffee. It's all sourced ethically, and it is a Latino-owned company. So check them out and step up your coffee game.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mestizo Coffee. Let me pull. I'm gonna pull up that thing you sent us in a second.
Yeah.
But all right.
Sprinkle.
remember a few. I think this was so much other shit happens that it's hard. A while back, two black men were waiting for a colleague at a Philadelphia Starbucks. They got the cops called on them, and they got like hauled out of there. Well, apparently, the the Starbucks fired the manager because for calling the cops and for doing the stuff, right? For being racist, they fired her.
Okay.
And a jury has returned with a $25.6 million verdict in her favor.
Wait.
That says she was fired because of an absence of leadership.
What?
A jury on Monday found in favor of former Starbucks regional director Shannon Phillips, who sued the company for wrongly firing her, claiming she was terminated for being white. Phillips, who worked for Starbucks for 13 years, was fired after the arrest of two black men at a Philadelphia Starbucks. The New Jersey jury returned a $25.6 million verdict, including $25 million for punitive damages. Starbucks said is the point of the decision. So basically, she said in a lawsuit filed in 2019 that the company discriminated against her before the race when she was let go.
Whoa, that's a sad time. So she got money at the end of it.
She got $25 million for a reverse racism case.
That's insane.
God bless her.
What state with this in?
This was in Jersey. Are you trying to go be racist in Jersey? See if you can make some
reverse. wait. So the lady that got fired she pled
basically
that
she was
fired because she was being white.
Basically, she was in charge of the region or that area or something during that, and Starbucks fired her because she said it was a situation that was unrecoverable, which means that it was such a big fuck up that heads had to roll, right? They couldn't just be like, oh yeah, that's our policy. When two black guys are there for longer than 10 minutes,
right?
We call the cops, so she was in charge and they basically had to do something. So they fired her. And then she sued Starbucks saying, no, it wasn't because of that incident where I managed and I was overseeing the training that led this to happen. It was because I was white and there was an absence of leadership. I wasn't told that it wasn't okay to be racist, basically.
Oh man, so she just got applauded for being racist pretty much. $25 million worth. Holy shit.
This is kind of like that kid that went across state lines in Wisconsin to shoot people. What's that?
Oh yes, and then he became a celebrity and everything.
Yeah, so this is kind of like hey, this could happen to you.
It rewards. Yeah.
It's all right. All right. Let's see what else we got here. The writer's strike. You might have a little insight on this. Entering day 50. One of the big things that for independent filmmakers, independent actors, people that are not necessarily established in the industry, is what you should and shouldn't do during the strike. For example, there's nothing that would stop me, an independent filmmaker, writer, director, from working on my own script, right? And this will be a SAG feature. If SAG is on strike, obviously I won't be able to film because SAG has approved strike. And if I was a WGA writer, I wouldn't necessarily be doing it because I'm pre WGA, I'm pre Directors Guild. The other avenue is that the Directors Guild is having a vote currently on whether they accept, because there's the basically the four heads that run LA unions are the grips, right? They are without them, and a lot of them won't cross the picket line. There's the WGA, the Writers Guild, the Directors Guild, and then SAG, right? You also have the Editors Guild, Producers Guild, all this stuff. But the main four are the ones that negotiate with ATMPT, whatever it is. AMTPP, which is a coalition and a collection of all the different major studios that always are using union talent and crews. So the DGA has a tentative deal, but a lot of people are feeling that they should hold off and not ratify that deal until the writers and the actors get their fair deal in place. And the big things that are at stake are whether, how it would affect me directly is, let's say there's a studio or streaming service that says, Lou, we liked Slapworthy, we liked Shenanigans, we like your comedy writing. We got this AI machine to write a rom-com. And we don't want you to write it. We don't want you to be the writer. All we want you to do is go through it and sort of clean up a little bit of the mistakes that the AI made.
Oof.
And we're going to pay you, but it's going to be written by AI, and AI is going to get the credit. So those are some of the things. Also, residuals and streamers not wanting to really reveal. Streamers are not trying to let people know how many people actually watch their movies and films. And the different reasons could be because the numbers are lower than people think, or the numbers are way higher than people think.
Right.
If the numbers are way lower than people think, then that means that this whole rush to streaming on demand thing has not really worked as well as they can. And what they're trying to do is just monopolize the industry and then lower rates and all that shit. If it's better than people anticipated, then they don't want to show those numbers, because then, a writer could say, hey, this got you X amount of new viewers on your shows. We'd like to get compensated better. So it's a whole clusterfuck. There's so many things happening, the question is, can you shoot a truly independent film during the writer's strike? So I'm going to link this article, which is sort of about a couple of things that people should keep in mind if they're actors, if they're writers. You might get approached during this time by somebody saying, hey, we'd like to take a look at your work. Your response should be, sure, I'd love to, after, the strike is settled, right, Annabelle? That's sort of like the walking orders.
Yeah. So the big thing about this whole strike is you need to not do any work that benefits any person within the AMTPP. So if you are just trying to make a film with your friends and you are in the process of, I write something, you direct it, Sophia's in it, and it's all of our friends. There's no, we are not going to get in
that
trouble.
sounds like a weekend.
Yeah, that sounds like a great weekend. And so that's not really the issue. It's when we decide that we have an idea that we really want to get paid for. So we're going to go to we're going to make this and write it with the intention of selling it to the studios. That's when it starts to become an issue. We don't want to create work that they can make money off of, because the whole reason that we are fighting for this is because we, I say we, I'm pre-WGA, but I work for a WGA member who is out picketing every day, and she's amazing. So that's kind of like the stop. And I think people were getting really scared because you don't want to scab, because if you do scab, you will never be able to join the WGA, which means you'll never be able to work in this industry when it's up and running again. And so the concern is, am I scabbing? But the main question has to be, am I going to help studios make money? And I think another big issue with the streaming of us getting numbers is, like, if the numbers are lower, studios don't want to release it, because then their shareholders are like, what are we holding on to if it's not really even lucrative? And so that's kind of like, what's his name? Seth Rogen did a really big article once. I think it was with Variety or with one of these big papers, of just being like, tell us.
Yeah.
No contract ever tells me how much I make and how many people see my stuff. And I want to know, because then helps me in my own production company of like what I'm bringing in, what I'm making. And none of the big studios have released any of this, especially Netflix. Netflix is like the big bad and all of this all. So
how it affects, for example, when it comes to film festivals, the question is, can you enter film festivals during the writer strikes? Yes. This is Christopher Kyle that's answering some of these questions. If you put your film in a festival and it leads to an offer or a sale option, then basically you'd be, putting in a film festival, getting that recognition is fine. But then if Netflix is like, hey, I want to buy this right now and put it on, then yes, at that point, the proper response is no, let's talk when the strike is over. Right.
Yep.
Can you get an agent during the writer strikes? Yes. Agents probably have a lot of time on their hands right now. It's a great time to do submissions or do query letters, stuff like that. But again, if it leads to work, or if it leads to meetings, or if it's an agent or a manager that is trying to get people to scab, then that's another no.
Yeah.
Talking to the press, obviously, but they don't want people to be promoting the films that are about to be out there. So if as a
Right.
writer, as a pre-WGA, as a WGA, you want to come on the Gente Show, talk about the strike, that's fine. But you're not necessarily, I'm not going to ask you, hey, let's promote the thing that you already wrote that they're going to still try to make money on, right?
Right.
And who are the WAJ signatories that are being ticketed? You can look that all up. I also think that they might. I don't know if it's going to happen, but because in San Diego there's a couple of WGA people, and they're like, "Hey, what should we do?" And it's like, "Well, take a ride up to LA and do it." There's no really point in there's no really thing to boycott. Although I think they may do some boycotting at Comic-Con.
Oh.
So that's kind of the latest that I heard, which is like, damn, I kind of wanted to go to Comic-Con. I mean, I am going to be at Comic-Con, so I'll just use
still go.
I'll just use another entrance. I'm sorry, that's wrong.
You can still go. You can still go. I think you just don't want the studios to have the
which is interesting place to
the
pick it
space.
because it is where they are promoting a lot of stuff that's going to come out, right? So
That's true.
Right.
there isn't really a lot of other places to pick it in San Diego about like ongoing stuff.
No.
We could just join the picketing. Let's go.
Just join
Let's
the
go
picketing
support.
and then be like,
Yeah,
this
let's
guy's
go
got a badge.
Oh, you have your badge. Wait, never mind. I don't have my badge. I was just gonna walk around in the outside.
Yeah, you can do that. All right. Let's wrap this up. I have a couple other things that we can do, and we have some anonymous ways actually. So
What? We have not been pimping out the link. So we do
were-
anonymous advice every week, but lately we haven't been promoting much. But interesting. Let's do it.
All right. Okay, let me just do these last two videos here. Okay, so one other thing that I wanted to talk about, which was there's a show called Primos
Oh yes.
on Freevee, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also another show that's coming out on Disney called
Ooh.
Oye Primos,
Okay. Huh.
right?
Interesting.
But basic, okay. If you guys haven't heard of it, have you not? If you guys are not up in it, well, basically,
No.
all right.
Who? Me and Sophia? No.
No.
okay.
No.
All right.
I've seen the first episode of Primos, but that's about it.
Hold on a second. We're towards the end of the stream, so I think it'll be okay if I play some of this in case for some reason it gets taken down Facebook.
Oh
and such
no.
bits. Okay, so this is the. Oh wait, no, this is
Immediately.
Hold on a second.
Both of us immediately start dancing. That was great.
Yeah. Shimmy, shimmy.
I'm sure I can pull this up. Give me 2 seconds here. Pull that shit up, Blue. Primos. Okay, they released a theme song. All right, I'm not gonna play the. Let me see if I can do the closed captioning so we can see what's happening and so you can sort of see. So
okay, animation.
It's an animated. It's an animated show on Disney, right? It's supposed to be, I guess, like a hybrid of LA and Mexico City, and
I was
it's
gonna
called.
say, is that LA?
It's called Terremoto Heights.
Terremoto.
All right, so it's like she's basically about this girl that's
okay in the Heights. Okay.
in the Heights.
I know.
And then all her cousins moved in.
Wow,
I
that was
like
me.
that.
That was
We didn't
me.
like that.
I lived with all my cousins growing up.
I'm liking
Right.
this so far.
Right. Okay.
Cute.
All
Oh,
right, so
musical
that's-
numbers?
Oh, you're
Yes, they got Anabel. They got her.
They got me. They got me in.
They got Anthony, but some of the names
Anthony
are like,
Ramos?
No. Basically,
That's who I thought too.
all right. Just so you.
I'm
Okay,
mad
so
at
this
him.
is a. So basically,
Disney Channel.
I love it.
people hated this.
What? How could you hate that?
Why?
All right. Essentially, the reason people hate this is because I'm trying to find some of the things on it, but basically, people hated it because of they hated Terremoto Heights for some reason. They thought it was like weird to name it the city that.
That is fair. That is weird.
They hated that the character's name was they named one of the girls Cuquita. And then they named another character Nacho. So there was a whole discourse on, and then also the name. They said it should be Oigan Primos, not Oye Primos.
Mhm.
So this is kind of like there's a show called
Aw.
Primos that's really good, and then this other show comes out. Yes, it's not perfect, but I thought it was interesting that you guys sort of watched it a little bit without any of that preconceived sort of thing on it, and you go like, "Oh, this looks cool." But meanwhile, while the internet and Twitter got it, it was like, "Oh, this is horrendous. This is, you know." Is that a little bit about? Is that kind of like the transgenders and the non-binaries eating each other, just like the different Latinos being like,
We can't agree on anything. This is why we can't have nice things.
You know, I think that everyone's allowed to have their own experience. However, there's definitely a hive mind sometimes. The intention is adorable. The intention is you wanted to create a story that was, you know, unless it's one of those cash grabs. I've definitely been in rooms where it's a ton of white people being like, how do we get the Latinos to watch this? Or how do I get the African American people to watch this? And just like, these are horrible, so I want to know who's behind it. But if the intention is to create a story for Latinos that look and sound like Latino neighborhoods, I mean,
look, a lot of us grew up with big households, you know. I'm here for the Oye Primo slander. Their names, though, Bonita, Chacha, Nacho.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is blatant stereotyping and just making a joke of another culture. What if a Latin American made a cartoon about Yankee people and it was called City?
I'm sorry. That's oh no.
Right. So basically, it was like, oh no, you know. So basically, there was. I'm interested to see if you guys sort of look into it and watch it, like where you can more time. Cuquita equals little pussy.
Okay, that is crazy.
Yeah, they named her Cuquita.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. And
no. Oh, look, a little disco ball.
Oh, hey. There you go. A little callback.
I also saw a picture of Spider-Man into or across the Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? The Latino Spider-Man.
Miles Morales.
Have you guys seen it?
Mm-hmm.
No. Miles Morales, the main he's not a bad guy in it, but he's like the guy that runs the Spider-Verse that Miles Morales goes to. He's Latino.
Nice.
Oh, I haven't.
Yeah. And he's fine as frick.
Ooh,
I don't know
okay. I have to watch it.
You have to watch it, girl.
Yes.
They had no business making him that fine. They had no
okay.
business.
It's on my top of my list. I have to watch it.
Okay, Terremoto Heights, Earthquake Heights, choosing the electric wires related to drug zones, Cuquita, little vagina in some countries. Oye Primos is grammatically incorrect. Gordita is not a name, it means little fatty. Two cousins are named Nacho and Nachito, and this thing, because oh my god.
I don't know. Okay, so part of me is like, y'all are being very nitpicky.
We're picking the nips.
Picking the nips. Because listen. I'm sure we could sit here and nitpick a lot of stuff, but Disney has never been a great representation of anything. Have you seen The Proud Family? That was also very, you could have nitpicked a lot of stuff from there as well. And then in Kim Possible, the Mexican restaurant was Bueno Nacho. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not defending them. I think it's cringe, but let's give it a shot. Let's watch it first. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
As somebody whose nickname was Gordita Linda, those names are real. Like, sure, they're stereotypes, but those are also real names of real people. So
exactly.
The beef is unseasoned.
The beef is unseasoned. Yeah, no, and then also the shoes being on the electric wires. I didn't know that had to do with being drug territory. There were shoes on all electric wires where I grew up. I mean, I don't know.
Girl.
So I was in drug territory, wasn't I? Shit. Wow, not me just realizing this now.
On this podcast live.
Yeah, I was over here like whenever our shoes got old.
I was today years old.
Years old. Wow.
As the president might say, God save the queen, man.
Yeah, but or Lizzie's in a box. But But I don't know. I just don't see either as very offensive. I don't know what that says about me, but like shoes are in electric wires. I don't know why we're nitpicking everything. I get the Cuquita one. I get the Remoto Heights. I just feel like that's cringe. But let's watch it.
You're
And
also
then,
Mexican,
yeah. So
which are much less
offended.
offended, and you're not like
We
a Twitter,
kind of,
Twitter
we're just,
Mexican.
yeah, I don't know. We just kind of, I don't know. We like to have fun. We like to have nice things, y'all. So we don't like to have a headache
Listen,
over everything.
they
Okay.
they stopped the soccer game the other day because you guys couldn't stop saying puto.
Yeah. Like we like to
I
have
love
fun.
that.
They're like,
I love that.
It's our chant. It was our tradition. And then with the Mundial, everyone took it over and they appropriated it. And then after that, they were like, that's highly inappropriate. Don't ever do it again. And we were like, we've been doing this. How dare you? So whatever.
What if you went to a basketball game, right? And every time there was a guy on the free throw line, the whole crowd was like F word, like loud.
But
like,
see, here's the thing. We've had this conversation about the P word and the F word and what it means. Like
Right.
you know, like Anabel said, some nicknames like gordita and stuff like that, flaquita, güerita, all of those were like, they're not appropriate. Like they're not, when you think about it, they're not the best, but it's just something that culturally is accepted and people use them. So I'm not saying, I'm not defending the P word. I'm not saying that like, oh my God, it's the best word of all time. But I am saying that culturally, it's not that offensive a word. It's like bitch. It's like damn. At this point, it's not that offensive. It's not like the F word. It's not a derogatory term. So that's,
it's not an issue with the show. It feels like an issue with the culture.
Pussy. It doesn't mean it's more comparable to saying pussy, I think.
The P word. Puto?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more like,
don't be a pussy.
How I know it has a lot of connotations with like obviously being very derogatory towards gay men specifically, but like I feel like we've moved past that sort of like with, you know, boss bitch kind of stuff like that. I don't know. Again, I'm not defending the word. I'm just saying that culturally it's not that offensive. If you ask a gay man in Mexico, they more than likely will not find it offensive unless you're using it in an offensive way.
Of course.
But if you're chanting it at a soccer game, it's not going to hurt anybody.
No, I get it.
I don't know.
I get it. That's weird.
Yeah.
I wonder which generation are these complaining coming from, Oye Primos? I don't know.
True. Do you think it's the younger or the older generation?
I think it's more younger. Look, remember you ever seen that video of that kid that's walking around and he's talking to millennials and he's got the hat and the sombrero and the
yes, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Do you think this is offensive?" And they're like, "Yes, highly." "Are you Mexican?" "Oh, yes." "Then I am very offended. This is offensive." And then he's like, all the Mexican people are like, "Ah, you look cool."
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever. You know.
Yeah.
So I think part of that's just like the whole Latinx thing that just sort of Latinos are the last to sort of care about something like that because we're still in the, I think it's like that Gen X thing where it's like it's a badge of honor to be cool with that nickname, gordita, you know, whatever it is, you know, flaco, you know, like that generation was like, the thing about you that's different is what we will point out, and we're gonna burn you with it until you show us that you're tough enough and that it doesn't fucking bother you and that you can give it back to us. That's always a badge of honor for Latinos, as well as I think Generation X and back. I think when we got to pussified millennials and exennials, that's when that whole thing started up, you know. But yeah,
you know, there's always room to be better. Listen, we can always grow, but I'm just saying, watch the episode, see if it's actually highly offensive or not before we start nitpicking everything.
Give it a shot.
Like oigan primos versus oye primos. Okay, so it's
but that's definitely a cultural, because oye loco, oye primo.
You say oye,
humans say oye.
Yeah.
Oye, you know, that's it's you're getting mad at it not being grammatically correct. That's a stupid thing to get mad at.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a title.
Shows use puns all the time in their names. It's like a mainstay of naming a TV show. You know, like obviously you're gonna use puns and you're gonna use wordplay in it. That's a stupid thing to get mad at. If they have a nacho and a nachito, it's a little cringe.
Yeah.
Cuquita, a little cringe.
If we watch it and it's nothing but stereotype after stereotype, then yes, I will have a bone to pick.
Of course.
Until then, we'll see.
It's all about intention and execution.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Mic drop.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna skip the. I had some Trump stuff, but I'm not really interested in.
Nah.
We're gonna push it to next week. He said a bunch of dumb stuff, admitted a bunch of crimes. You know, it's happening. It'll keep happening. All right, let's do an anonymous way and let's get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, but
No,
I
anonymous way.
let's get into it. And I always should remind myself to not say the thing until I have the cue ready. Right? Is that what the?
That's probably
Now it's time for
No names way.
No names way.
No names.
All right. So this is anonymous advice from unqualified professionals. Our first question comes to us from first timer. I think this was an old one. What is the right amount of edibles for a non-smoker to partake in your hippie holiday? Oh, this was a 420 question.
That was a 420 one. Whoa, that was old.
Yeah.
5 milligrams. Don't do any more.
5 to 10.
That was so
5 to
specific.
10. Wait an hour and then reapply.
10 could put you on your ass. Be careful with 10.
He
Yeah.
has
What's
a
the
high
brand?
tolerance.
Yeah. Well, no.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, the gummy packs that I have within arm reach actually.
Don't ever smoke weed with him unless.
Right.
Oof.
These are actually. This is. Oh yeah. These are. Let's see if you can see the number on these.
I see THC. I see.
Okay, what? Okay, but is it a whole piece?
600?
600?
Shut
Yes.
up.
Wait, how many are in that pack?
There's probably about 7 or 8. So it's
So-
like it's like 80 to 100 milligrams per one of these.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. No, listen. If I eat half a pack, of these, I get
300 milligrams?
Yeah, if I eat a half a pack, I get emotionally high. Like I sit here and I'm just like thinking about the universe and I'm forgiving everybody. And I have to leave myself a post-it note to remind myself that it's okay. Like I get like mushroom high if I eat a half a pack.
Yeah.
So I've never eaten a whole pack. I know somebody who shall
you
remain.
shouldn't.
I know somebody who shall remain nameless. Let me see. And she can eat an entire pack and just go about her day and then just sleep. But yeah, but
I'm on.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's a lot. Trust me. But I'm just
I
saying, I will only eat at the very most one of those at a time. Yeah.
Even half of one would knock me out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. If I pass you an edible, don't eat it. That's the
Don't.
law.
60? Okay.
If he passes
I
you a blunt,
once
take a
took-
little puff.
I once took a 60 milligram cookie. My brother was seeing this guy that like baked him some edibles and go the LGBT and brings us back to the house. I eat a cookie. We watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action film. Horrible. And I remember having to ask my brother if I was breathing. I was like, do you see me breathing? Oh, that was 60 milligrams. I was like, at one point I was like, Jonathan, I have to go to bed. Please check on me in the morning because I might die. I might not wake up.
Yep.
So
Right.
That checks out. Am I breathing? That's
All
my
right.
yeah. I've
Yeah,
been there though. I've been there.
So if you still haven't done it, yeah. All right. The next question here is I'm gonna let you guys answer this because I gotta run for 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay.
What should I get my girlfriend for her birthday? We started dating in the spring after meeting her on New Year's Eve. So total of 6 months knowing her and only dating for a few months, and her birthday is 2 weeks. Don't want to go overboard though. What's a good entry level birthday gift?
Well, 6 months. I don't know that that's entry. I don't know.
I'll be right back. You guys can answer this.
Is it? I don't know. What do you think?
I think I don't know her. I feel like
exactly.
My gifts are all like catered to the
Personalized.
person. I
Yes.
want the person to enjoy. I don't have any details. You could be with Patrick from SpongeBob for all I know, and that's a very different thing. I tell you to get them before I tell you to get I don't know, Paris Hilton. Like they're just two different people. They get different gifts.
Exactly.
I guess. Does she wear earrings?
I wish we had more information. This is why you need to give us all the information when you submit a question, because it's the same thing. It's like we have to know something about this freaking woman.
Yeah.
Generalize. What would be some good? Just
Lack
have
of-
you ever
you're
given
talking about
gifts
lack
that are
of-
like general?
Yeah, I mean,
mugs.
I guess I would look for a concert in town.
Ooh, an
At that
experience
point,
that you can
buy
do
an
together.
experience. Yeah,
Yes.
buy an experience. If
Mhm.
there's an artist that she kind of likes, do that. If there's a fun, just I guess at that point, with all the
Escape room
details
and
that we
dinner.
have,
Yeah.
buy her an event.
Yes, I like that. Event, a dinner. That's a good idea.
Yeah,
And then
take her
if
out to
you want
dinner.
to, if you don't mind spending some money on a necklace, I feel like that's a good. Everyone likes a good necklace, bracelet. I don't know.
Flowers, card, her favorite
Flowers.
candy.
Yes, flowers are her
Busy
favorite
Miss
candy.
Lizzie just said for her favorite candy. Yeah.
Boom. Thank you, Lizzie.
Thank you, Lizzie. Yes.
Absolutely.
Lizzie, our entertainment correspondence experiences are always the best gift. Yeah, the one thing I would say is don't go with like an engraved bracelet or jewelry.
No, nothing special. Just
No
a cute
jewelry.
little...
Yeah, and because you're definitely, if it's been less than 6 months that you known them in total, don't get anything that's too personal or too serious, and definitely no rings, no earrings.
Hey,
Nothing.
what if he likes the girl?
Right.
No
But
promises.
I love me an earring. You can get me an earring 2 weeks
I
in.
guess earrings are okay, but I think a small
Luke
box
said
is a bad
the
idea.
two girls said jewelry as well. We're like earrings, necklace, bracelet. I don't know.
All right, how about just no
But I
diamonds?
do see an experience.
Yeah, nothing
No
crazy.
diamonds.
Yeah, nothing crazy expensive. No diamonds. Just like something cutesy, a card, flowers, a dinner experience. You choose.
An escape room is cute if she's the kind of person that likes. There's that whole thing in Abbott Elementary when they're trying to buy each other Valentine's Day gifts. Do you know that? Are you guys watching Abbott?
I haven't watched it, but I love Quinta.
There's a moment where you're seeing that they're clearly perfect for each other, but they're in the wrong relationships. And she buys her boyfriend, or he buys his girlfriend Lego flowers that would have been the perfect gift for Quinta's character.
Oh.
And Quinta buys her boyfriend, I forgot, but it's clearly the perfect gift for Tyler's character.
Oh, that's
and
a
then
bummer.
yeah. So it's you gotta know her. Buy her
Yeah.
Lego flowers.
Yeah.
Or one free pegging pass.
You gotta know her though. What if she doesn't want to
I
peg
love it.
him?
Yeah, no,
That would be a great gift for me, but I don't know.
That sounds like
about
that sounds like a present for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know me well.
When you made, did you guys ever? I was poor when I was a kid, and because obviously we're all children that don't make money. I would make people little books of like gift cards that they could use, like use this for a blank, use this for a blank.
Yes.
Someone
Those
give
always
me
work.
a little pack, just like, can I peg you? Just one peg.
Yeah, to make that to make that highly inappropriate. I mean, I guess pegging is already inappropriate. Somebody gave me a gift that were sex checks. So it was literally a little book with sex checks, and it had different positions and like
That's so
massage
cute.
and like a bunch of stuff. And like, well, shit like that, go for it. Just go to Spencer's, find something.
The back of Spencer's.
Yeah.
Get her an ironic t-shirt. There you go. All right, one last question, and we're gonna get out of here. This one comes to us. That was from Dilemma. This next one comes to us from Gay Troll. Okay.
Gay Troll.
Love.
Mm-hmm. Excited. Oh no, Lou. What does it say?
Lou, for Pride, you have to choose one man to top and one man to bottom with.
Yes. For Pride, Lou.
For Pride, what the fuck? Gay Troll.
Who would you top and who would you bottom?
Fuck. All right. Who's this? Wait, who's that? Who's this kid from Dune? The
little Timothy Chalamet.
All right, yeah. I think I could handle Timothy Chalamet.
To top or bottom?
To top Timothy Chalamet. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you mean handle?
What
do you mean handle Timothy Chalamet?
Handle.
Timothy Chalamet is 140 pounds wet. Okay?
Yeah, be serious, as in like, who would you want to top? Come on.
No,
who is your dream?
If I had to, listen, I'm doing. Oh, I'm not talking. Listen, I don't think I've evolved, but I don't think I've evolved that much that I could be like, this is my dream person to top as a guy.
You don't want to top Jason Momoa or something? I feel like you'd want to top someone bigger.
No.
And you would want to bottom for someone smaller, no? I don't know.
No. I'm
Tom
playing along
Holland.
here.
I feel like Tom Holland would have been a good answer.
Tom Holland is who I would bottom for because I feel he would be gentle.
He would be so gentle. Exactly. You want someone who would gently top you.
You don't want Jason Momoa. I
don't want to look back and him.
I don't want to look at The Rock or fucking Jason.
You want to top them. You want to alpha them.
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't think my brain can go there. For some reason it immediately went to like slight, petite,
We found, yep.
Yeah. So if damn
you
it.
broke Lou, gay troll. You broke him.
Fucking excellent use of trolling me, gay troll. Thank you. You lived up to your name there. So hey, listen. All right.
So
for pride, we'll play along. So let the
also racist, two very lanky, small white boys.
Can we pick for you? Can we pick?
Oh yes, please, absolutely. Listen. Okay. All right, let's see this.
Great.
Sophia, you pick his bottom. I'll pick his top.
Ooh. Okay. Ooh. Mm-hmm. Okay, you go for it. Do you have someone in mind already? I'm still thinking.
Okay, I'm because okay, fine. If you don't want to look back at someone like The Rock, right? Big, super husky.
Pedro Pascal.
I was gonna say Pedro Pascal.
I was gonna say, go for the good-looking, someone who's gonna really take care of you. Oscar Isaac is
have
fabulous.
A threesome. Yes.
Oscar Isaac would definitely
listen. I don't know if even I could turn down a threesome with Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac.
No,
I might
be
have to
silly.
What if I got them both to be in? What if they were playing the leads in one of my movies and I was like, hey guys, let's just go out to the desert and do some ayahuasca and just kind of see what happens.
Yes, get weird.
Right.
Yeah,
get weird with it. I might have to listen. That might be
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. And so
the best Pride Month ever. Well, I was thinking Pedro Pascal. That's why. So I'm between.
Perfect. Done.
That's why I was like, that's a great.
All right. God damn it. That's it. All right. So it's a Pride Month miracle.
Yay.
I'm going with Pedro Pascal and Oscar Isaac out into the desert. And things are gonna get weird. All right.
Timothy Chalamet taps in later.
Okay, listen, man. If I had Tom Holland and Zendaya, I might, hey.
No one mentions Zendaya. No one mentioned him.
I might have to take one for.
He's not invited.
No. She gets the pegging pass.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Damn it.
What girl would get the pegging pass? Ana de Armas.
Sure. Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas
can do anything.
Look at your little Juanita.
She can step on my neck.
That's your girl.
Yep.
All right, everybody. This has been very gay ending to our show. With that being said, Anabel, thank you very much again for being on the show.
Of course, anytime. I love my time.
Absolutely. Thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is Luis Martinez. Sofia Carr, my co-host, and Anabel. Follow us all. Thank you, mi gente. We love you. Thanks for checking in with us. We'll be better next time. Peace out.
Hasta luego.
Ciao.
Vamos, papá, hay que irnos. Me estoy aguantando desde que pusieron el domo.
Puedes esperar. Muchas personas trabajaron en esta película y solo quieren que te aprendas sus nombres de memoria.
Y yo quiero asegurarme de que ningún animal resultó lesionado durante la filmación de esta película.